Hey guys, welcome to the close. 2 o'clock, couple hours left in a Monday trading session. Brand new week, which has been kind of back and forth overall. We are positive on the day. If we want to jump right into the overall market here, I'll show you where we stand right now. The S&P rather, 0.63 to the upside. The Dow just creeping back into positive territory as we come back on for the final 2 hours here. 1.7 for the NASDAQ. It's been a tech kind of day around here. Everything tech nicely higher on the session. We'll talk about a few names coming up here. But TSX here in Toronto, 0.5% to the upside. Look at crude oil. Yeah, still 3% in positive territory. Bitcoin negative on the session along with Ethereum. Nice green board to show you here for the S&P 500. Now 0.58 up there to the upside. Twitter obviously leading the way. A monster day for TWTR. Netflix up 5.5, Match and FB as well in the communication services group having a pretty good day. IT stocks, information technology, the entire group basically in positive territory along with this group here, consumer discretionary. There's Tesla down there, 5.7% to the upside for Tesla. Pretty impressive move once again. Etsy bounces back, Best Buy bounces back. Penn had a rough week last week, up 6%. So far on the day, I wanted to mention energy stocks over here. A bit of a discrepancy here with oil up 3%. Oil stocks, oil-related stocks only, well, I mean, the group itself basically flat, but there are some standing out to the downside there. Industrials in negative territory along with the real estate group. We'll give you a quick look here at the NASDAQ before we get into some of the things we were discussing. If you joined us early on this morning, the NASDAQ doesn't like to, there we go. Yeah, nice green board right across the entire sector here. PDD, 15%. JD.com, 7.3%. Baidu up 8% as well. We'll discuss some of the Chinese strength. Chinese ADRs getting a boost once again. Coming off more signs that Chinese regulators are going to, I guess, follow whatever the SEC says and keep those stocks listed, the ADRs that is listed in the U.S. Hope your afternoon is going well. Welcome to a Monday afternoon. We're going to jump into what we were discussing in the pre-market. If you join us, please do join us every single day at 8:30. We get you prepared for the open at 9:30. An entire hour of preparation comes your way every morning. We're going to go back now, look at a few of those opportunities and see how we approach them. Sean's going to lead us off with a look at one of his trades from this morning.
Hey guys, welcome back. It feels like I'm doing AMC all the time, but today, very important day, and the reason why is we traded it so much differently today than we did on Friday. On Friday, we couldn't find levels, and I don't know if you were watching or not on Friday. It was pretty choppy back and forth there off the open, and it was just like we expected big news with GameStop and AMC, and both actually wind up going to the downside. A little bit of a different story today. How did we trade it differently? I mean, again, we kind of use that whole like when in doubt, zoom out type of thing. And it's not even that. It's like we identified this 22 level a bunch of different times. And so today it was like, I even wrote it down on the sticky note that I was going to wait for 22 to come through. Other than that, it was going to be nothing for me on AMC. So this is more, you know, like one of those PDT rule type of trades where we wait and we become very, very specific here for 22. It actually is funny because the first time it came down here, I didn't notice it. And it was right about 10 o'clock. And I didn't notice it at all that it came down. And then all of a sudden, someone in our chat was like, oh, AMC's at 22. But then by the time I went back to it, it had already bumped up into like 22.30 or so. So that gave me this, oh, we got to remember that we want to go long. And this isn't, I wasn't even looking at this. It fell in, and we actually have two bids down here, came in, picked us up, and we just got long there at 22.03 or whatever it was, just a little north of 22. And again, if you go back, it touched 22 today. That's easy. But it was just sort of this high there on the 22nd or 23rd, that $22, and then we retested it there on the 24th. So I felt like there could have been possibly some support at 22. Now, obviously, we were going to give it a little more into like 21.50 or so, but we didn't really need to. Probably 21.80, to be honest with you. It wasn't going to go that low. And then all of a sudden, boom, exactly what happens. We thought would happen sort of happens. Our first out starts to be at like 22.15 or so. And then we just get the majority of them out here above this line, which is like between 22.25 and 22.30. Now, again, we weren't certain if this was going to be one of those monster move backs up here for AMD. But once we crossed the 50 period, and at that time, you know, VWAP is more up here, so we're not really dealing with that. It comes back in and we just start to get out. But as you know, we're trying to hold a little bit more. So we're actually still in this name and just averaged in right here. But we let it go all the way back up, and then we take 50 cents. 50 cents is our best out. And I just wanted to highlight this area up here, 24. It actually came up there. And I was sitting in it, and I could have gotten out. We only have a small piece left. But again, I wanted to see sort of the action up here. Now we definitely know that there seems to be some high support. And if you go back on the chart here, this is that 24, 25. So it's kind of, again, like the same areas here, just like we were going long. This 24 area was a great offer there to get out. So we should have noticed that, and we didn't. Again, my bad on that one. Now we go back in just a little bit of shares here. It comes back in, test VWAP. The same thing happened here at 23. I mean, 23 is all the way up here, but 22.90. The chart doesn't look as crazy because AMC's kind of settled down, only being down that 2%. So when we just took a long there was like at 22.90. It's only at 22.78 right now. My expectation is to reload it if it comes back in here. So build, 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 and then we'll see what happens down here at 22. But I have one more bid to go around this 22.40 area, and then we'll see about maybe accumulating more if we get down into 22. The difference today was patience. We tweeted it out, and that's it. I just put one word, patience, on the tweet, and it was because we waited for our spot right there, able to put on some shares and then watch it go back up to the upside. I'm much happier today trading AMC when we actually had a level rather than try to play the momentum like we did on Friday.
Pretty impressive reversal and bounce back for a lot of stocks this morning. Around that same time, in fact, we'll show you a bunch of charts coming up here that are going to look similar. Nice move for AMC back higher. That's the watch list, guys. We send it out every single morning before we come on at 8:30. Absolutely free to you. All you need is your email address. I wanted to show you this to kick things off here. So President Biden apparently, I'm watching the TV, but I haven't seen him yet, apparently going to speak on trucking initiatives coming from the Biden administration. So heads up on that. I just brought up this HYZN because not only is it a EV name, it's also a trucking name. So some volume coming in at the top there for HYZN. Heads up on that. Let's talk Tesla, another one that's apparently going to have a semi at some point. Tesla, I mean, so much to discuss. All-time highs, possibly, fairly soon here for Tesla. Obviously, deliveries over the weekend. We don't have to revisit the numbers, but what a move for Tesla.
Yeah, this move right now in the market is big time downside there. So don't mean to skip on Tesla, but we are short Starbucks right now. We have $1 in the money on AMD. We've been cracking this short. None of these are longs, man. Everything is short. We got cracked, we got back in, and now we're watching this thing go to the downside right now. But wow, what an impressive move on Tesla. And I know I caught some slack. What's up, Amir Zing, and what's up to everybody there from last week. But you know where your boy bought it, man. And I told you that we went long at 1064, and that's what we did last week, right down into here. It might have been, I'll have to double check the price, but it was a low price. I actually got it on the Canadian side, so that's why I'm not exactly sure the price. I'll double check for you. Let's call it 1075, who cares? A nice move up for Tesla. I still think Tesla works, man, and we've talked about that over and over again on why it works. I think it's the biggest, and I know Prado was talking about this as well, but the cult following behind Elon Musk is monstrous. You see Twitter already. We don't need to talk about that. That's an explosion to the upside. And by the way, all of this is right on the sticky note. We talked about Twitter today breaking through 48 and then 50. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Elon Musk and Tesla just continues to win the day here. The all-time high of 1243 is going to get breached. I called that, like last week when we were at 1050, I said, you're going to take this out. So it's 20% or so. I'll probably get out of half when we get back to the all-time high, which now that I'm just double checking, let me just double check that because our charts is saying 1209, but I don't believe that's right. No, it's 1243.49. Yeah. So we do have a much higher high to come through here. Yeah, I guess it goes back to here November. Yeah, so that's about it. So right in there, 1250. I think we test it, man. And I mean, what a monster this move has been. Just straight up to the upside. 5% today, plus we got another 2 or 3% on Friday. We're in the money 7% here on a day and a half. I like Tesla, and I think the stock continues to work. 2 all-time highs. And then if you want to get out at that point, get out. The market's not even screaming today. I mean, it's a nice move, but I mean, Tesla just keeps going up. What happens when it gets upgraded? What happens when, that Shanghai gets back going online again? I don't know, maybe they are today. But what a big move, and I don't even know how to explain it, up 5.5%.
Yeah, and the other, also remember too, there's a lot that was moving last week. Tesla is up in the face of some of the other ways to express EV strength, not as strong. I was trying to throw up Lithium Americas, which had such a gigantic run recently. You're doing this in the face of that down actually today. And that was a monster breakout last week. It went from 40, it topped out at 50, 20% mover, and you're going to be down today. So the context of the move is even more impressive when you think about how much it's outpacing the overall market and some other sympathy plays. But just to come to, I know we're going to go to Twitter in a second, but I know you sort of let off there, Sean, talking about the reversal in the market. I just want to show it to you guys here quickly because we got like a double top, almost a triple top from today at 15.1 in the NASDAQ. And this is the pullback that we're dealing with right now, like a big pullback essentially just as I guess Biden started talking or when we came back on the show. Either way, a bit of a pullback happening. Still a very strong day in the market, up 1.5%, but starting to give some back.
Yeah, it would appear that's really it at this point, guys. We'll keep an eye on comments coming from the president, TKAT. We were discussing some of the NFT names, just popping back up here. I wanted to mention that. And then YVR, I mean, it's all of them. Like YVR up 44% on the day, back above $1. So just a note, keep some of the NFT names on watch. Yeah, we're going to talk Twitter. Speaking of Elon, obviously, 9.2% stake here in Twitter. Big day as a result for Twitter shares.
Yeah, gulp for that one because, yeah, we were all over Twitter, guys, and we even said it here on our sticky note, and welcome, guys, to the show. It's been a big day, man, and we knew coming in that this was going to be a fun one for us. Here's the sticky note here. We talked about Musk taking the stake. It's obviously interesting. We trade around that 44 level. Let's see if we get back down to there, but a break of 40 tests 58, break of 48 tests 50, and that's basically what we did here. Unfortunately, we got out right down here when it did take. That was the last little bit of that trade. But we are buys all in here, and it's not going to age well, like I said, because of where this move is going. Twitter just straight upside right now. Maybe if I can make this just a little bit bigger and you can see exactly this. We got pretty lucky, not pretty lucky, but we have this high tick there of 49.50 early. These buys, 48, 48, 47.50, bang, bang. Big profitable name for me today. Not my number one because Starbucks were absolutely destroying that, and now we have a beautiful short in AMD as well, and a reload in Twitter, and Starbucks, we'll get to that too. But you see a nice little move up here. As soon as we took out this high, and let's just zoom back in or out a little bit more if we can, just to see. As soon as we took out this high, it kind of bounced around here, 49.50 or so. Then we took it out, it went up, came back, retested, and then took out 51.50. And that's, well, not took it out, but that's where the high is, 51.50. Now it's falling back in. This is a save the day moment for Twitter shareholders, including myself. I'm not super heavy in this name, and I think I'll just hold to see what's there. But you're getting a big relief rally on this name. It's been an absolute hot garbage stock for a very, very long time, man. Including the summer, we got up to 74, 75 bucks, and then it was all the way, like, it got cut more than in half in 6 months, right? And so it's been just getting destroyed. My sort of thing on Twitter has been, if they weren't able to monetize and capitalize on President Trump being on Twitter and literally every single day on every major newscast and everything, there was a little Twitter icon besides something that President Trump said, well, then I kind of gave it up at that point, right? But we were able to get out some of that in the summer, not at the highs, but I didn't buy back in, and I'm really debating as we try to approach the 200 period here at 52, this might be a great opportunity to get out of some Twitter. I just, unless Elon Musk does take this thing over, which I don't see why he would do that, I feel like this is one of those fade the pop type of plays.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of I really liked, then Twitter never really broke out of the range. And I'll show you here, like, it started out and just got greedy with the short. First short was a scalp trade, and then I liked this channel we're in, this 46, up into that 50, short it, give it to the middle, thinking, okay, well, you're giving it a couple of bucks. It should be able to break one way or the other, take some out halfway, and then it just never went anywhere. Played off the high, which couldn't go. And then even when it took out the top, it still can't get through high of the day. It's a strange one and you know what? I guess it's not that strange given how much the volume has been on this name. It's been a scalp trade when expecting a gapper to be a bit more of a mover, and unfortunately, it just wasn't that. And that's why if you have a different read on it, then you're scalping out for that dollar instead, and then you're flipping and going in both ways. Now it's just a double top off the high, and whatever just happened in the market is the real reason that just flushed into 50. This was gradually coming off the double top, and then there was an acceleration in the NASDAQ that kind of got this out. But if we get to VWAP on the 50 on the 15-minute, then I'll be all out of this one for the last short. I won't be up on the day. I had a chance to, but I was not trying to scalp the thing, which was clearly the way to approach it. Like, it's been a scalper's dream, and I just saw it as like a gap and runner, hold all day type of play, which is not the way it's moving at all today in Twitter. But I'm sort of with you. I remember what happened with Peloton, Sean, and I think it's been a gift for. It actually just hasn't been a gift for Twitter. For Twitter holders, like if you hold like Pinterest, you've actually been probably given a bit of a gift as that started breaking out. I don't know if that's a sympathy thing. The market is pretty strong. But really, you wake up to this 30%, and there's your out. I don't see fundamentally what Elon's necessarily going to change, but I could be wrong. And we'll see. He's a pretty genius guy. I would just rather he focus on, focus on what you do best, man. I'm talking about Mars. I'm talking about Tesla. And let's work on those types of things, because I think that's more important to most people for Elon's attention.
All right, let's keep the EV theme going here. I was just looking. A few comments from actually the Hertz CEO right now, guys. Polestar deal opens a number of channels for us going forward was one of them. So I just noticed GGP Igor's Guggenheim, aka Polestar SPAC, catching a bit of a bid here. Some volume coming back in right now. Still struggling though with this 12.5, it would appear.
Yeah, it's been I don't know. Polestar has been a bit of a lazy one. Like the volume's actually pretty good, which is weird because it doesn't seem that way. But you looked at this 1250, and to me, it's like it's set up as a break if it could have broken back above that price, and then there was support down around the previous high. And each one of those, like if you took the breakout trade, which we did, all you could get is back to flat, whereas the dip in front of that 1180, which around $12, like that's working fine, but there is zero follow through. It gets to this 1250 level and then just hard rejects it each time. It is consolidating, so there's a chance that maybe for power hour we're going to get a breakout from there, which is at this point all we're looking for. But I would say overall it's been a bit of a disappointment. If you're gonna hold level like this, I'd like to see it break back out. The market's been pretty strong here. It's certainly got room. It had room above there, but sometimes when it overextends in the pre-market, it has trouble getting back to those prices, maybe too many bag holders. So 13 feels like it might be all that we get, if we can even get that.
Yeah, look, another one here on the stick. One of the only 4 or 5 names on here. We put GGPI here. The deal with Hertz, look at the 12 long. We also talked about Facebook. Wow, I don't even want to look at Facebook right now, to be honest with you. That's going to be up there on the frustrating stocks. But there it is. Oops, that's AMD, sorry. I'm trying to get it. I just got out of some more AMD. We're going to get more short, hopefully. But here's the long. The problem is we started it too early. We wrote down $12. Unfortunately, when it broke 12, I only gave it 10 cents to the downside. It breaks. Actually, we only gave it 5 cents. We get out at 94 there, which means we had a 95 stop, and then we got the rest out once it breaks through 80 or 90, I guess, and there's the out there, and then that seems to have been the bottom of the day that we made. But again, I think that this is just the opposite of my AMC trade, where we weren't patient enough, and I didn't really find any levels. I mean, the ultimate levels here were in this area for Polestar, which was like 1140, 1150, caught in here somewhere. So when we dipped below 12, which is just like in no man's land, like this is 12, like you got some stuff up here. I just feared that we could have dipped lower and then I might have been able to get a better buy. So it was just too early for me in the day on Polestar, but again, a great deal with Hertz. I still like this name. The name that I'm more excited about, obviously, and you guys know that I've been buying this one up, and I've been talking about Fisker. This is up 12% today, like on no deal news. So it's actually, if you compare that to GGPI, I mean, this has been straight up here. No real pullbacks at all for Fisker today. So I don't know what's up with this name, but a nice little move back up. We're finally back into the money on this. And yeah, Fisker continues to work. So I like this stock more than Polestar. And again, a nice move up. We know the Ocean's coming in November, and then the Popemobile at some point in between then. I heard this summer for Popemobile. So we'll see if he's cruising around in the ocean coming up soon, but that's just a little bit of a possible, again, I don't think the Pope riding around in it doesn't mean we buy the stock, but it just gives them that media exposure.
Yeah, exactly.
That people might be like, oh, what's he rolling in? And oh, it's a Fisker Ocean. So anyways, I like that play, and I like it right now up 12%, better than I did on Friday.
Just reading about this Gogoro, if you've ever heard of it, PPGH. Up huge today. It was almost 50% at one point. coming back to the downside. So this is also a SPAC, guys. This is going to turn into GGR as of tomorrow. Gogoro is a battery swap type of company for EVs, obviously. So watch out for GGR, which will be day one tomorrow on the NASDAQ. Starbucks to the downside in a big way today on that buyback or share buyback cancellation, I guess you want to call it. They're going to discontinue it for the time being. Obviously, market doesn't like that too much.
Yeah, my number one stock by NetWise today is going to be Starbucks. And yeah, we hit this one. It was a pretty good trade. And again, one that was on the sticky note. And I don't even want to make this that complicated. It was really just the 88.50 mark there. We came in, whenever you cancel your share buyback, that's like a number one reason why a lot of people get into stock, period. It's why I like Apple. We've talked about Chevron. We've talked about some of the Googles and Facebooks of the world. And, you know, the companies IBM, the forever buyback. Like, these companies are buying back shares, and that gives a real bottom to the stock because, you know, they could go in there and say, we're buying back 10 billion or 5 billion worth of stock. So every time it dips down, I mean, we don't know exactly what prices they're buying it at, but you do have some sort of a floor for those stocks. So here comes Starbucks in today. New management, we know about that. And now they're going to cut their buyback to sort of reorganize and figure out where to better spend money. No, that's not, for shareholders, that's not a great sign. They take out this 88.50, which is kind of right here on the daily chart. It doesn't look anything that special. So that's why there's not much to show. On a 20-minute here, 88.50 would be kind of right into here. So we did have some highs, 88, 88.50 here as a top. But again, it was more just a clean break of the pre-market level. And where is it? That's the 1 day. I need the 1 minute. Here's the 1 minute level. So when we came in today, we noticed down, 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 and we just like, okay, this is 88.70, so let's take an 88.50 break. And that's exactly what we did. We had it in the pre-market, down, down, down. We got a little reload there at 88.20, down. We make the bottom of the day at 86.50. And now it's kind of just going back up. And we just reloaded the short, which is not going to look that significant because we have these stupid wicks here. But if you look, that reload on the short, one was at 40, and the one right there was at 45. Then we were able to get some out at 35, and then the bottom at 25. So we're going to see. I'm going to hold this short here. If Starbucks does take this level out, which is 87.60, then we're out of this. But I'm going to hold the short, see what happens at the close. But it is battling back nicely. It's above the 50 period. So I actually do expect this to get broken. So it's 87.60. If that breaks, we're out of Starbucks. Trend change. I'm not going to go long, but we're going to get out if it takes out these highs. 1, 2, 3, 4 times the charm. 87.60. We're out of Starbucks. But it's already my number one stock, and we don't hold that many shares. Just this reload right now.
Yeah, I mean, that broke that channel like an absolute champ this morning, that $90. And, you know, the thing about like reducing the buyback, it's not necessarily from a business standpoint or getting rid of the buyback from a business standpoint when you're trying to come in and sort of shake things up and reinvest and make a change. I get it for that long term, but for the way that traders and the market are going to punish you for the next 6 to 8 months, you understand, like it's bad momentum, it's bad juju, but it does give an opportunity. If you're looking for this, if you're looking for a reason, my daily trade does not want to go past the 2021 here, but if you're looking for a way to get into this, this is now going to cause some downward pressure for it to get back maybe to some March lows. And if you see that happen and it can find a consolidation, a lot of times, you know, when people are panicking, that can be a good place to step in for that long term. But understand, as a trading vehicle, it's a horrible thing for momentum. And as you can see, it was already rejecting the 50 period. There was a lot of things working against this trade to begin with, let alone with this, getting rid of the buyback as a first move for the new CEO.
One that popped up, guys, during the break there as Trader Pratt and Miss V were on. Coinbase up 1.5%. It is coming back in a little bit. Broke that 190, which was support on the initial move. But a couple things of note on Coinbase. They further detailed expansion plans into India today. I don't know if it's a positive anymore or not, but apparently the ARC machine was also in there buying up Coinbase on Friday, guys.
Ooh, on Friday, okay. Yeah, I mean, India is a huge market for them. I mean, I didn't look at Coinbase today at all, but nor have I really been looking at For some reason, Bitcoin's not on my mind today. 45.3 for Bitcoin, 34 for Ethereum. So not much really happening. They're up that 1.6%, which is exactly what the market's up. So I'm going to say that news is really a nothing burger, considering Bitcoin, like Brendan mentioned, Bitcoin's not really moving too much today. Neil had an interesting thought about Square, just like why Square's up when Bitcoin's not. So we will talk about that. But Coinbase, look, I don't know. Like, is Cathie Wood buying it a good sign? I don't know. But again, you do get some momentum to the upside there. And I don't know. I think she's just buying it in this dip, right? I don't know. There's a lot of talk about the corporate structure of Coinbase, and that's just, it's more favorable for those like sort of early takers there on Coinbase. They feel like a lot of people got out. I was lucky enough to get something out here at 360 when we made the complete cup all the way back here. You'll see when it loads back up, but anyways, back up to 360, and I haven't bought back in since it's been going down. So I don't know. I feel like there's some nice levels here. The 50 period is there. You have the 150 bottom. Honestly, I've talked about this before. If you're going to hold Coinbase for Bitcoin, then you should just hold Bitcoin. But I do like Coinbase for custody. I like that they can do a lot of different ideas. I know Ethereum now with proof of stake is paying that 4%. You can get dividends now and yield by holding on exchange. So I think that there is some value there for Coinbase, especially if they can figure out lending. And I know they got shut down on that offer. But I feel like there's more to the story. And I think you could buy Coinbase on dips if you're not in. I'd be very, very weary, obviously, of 150. But hey, if Cathie Wood's buying it, then we all should, right?
Well, the thing is, I don't know about that, but the reality is at least they're proactive with the regulators. If there's going to be that ability, like you said, with things like proof of stake and then getting whether it be 4% or whatnot. But look, the reality is they're going to likely be at the forefront of some of these new innovative products that are going to come out. So it's interesting to me that we talked about death crosses and golden crosses, and Coinbase is exactly at the same price. Like, since it made the death cross, it's pretty much at the same level and now bouncing off of that. So it's clearly there was downward momentum when this happened back at 180 last time, and we found some support in front of it. And now bouncing off to 50 period. So when I look at, it's more like the timing of when she bought. Like, if she's buying on Friday on that bounce, right in front where it put the death cross in, that's a pretty strong sign. And then keep in mind the context here. In the day where Bitcoin was down this morning, for what it's worth, you are getting a bounce. So I kind of like this level. And suddenly it wasn't on my radar this morning or for the week, but I now like it holding these 80s, these mid 80s. If we can buy in front of that support for the week, I'll definitely like it. It's also that 50 period, like we said. So there's some reasons to look at it for the rest of the week. But obviously, it hasn't really run that far today in the midst of a strong market. Like we were saying, Square is stupid strong on a day like today, and we're only 1.5%, but not a bad level off this 50 period if it can hold all week.
One other one to note here before we move on to frustrations of the day. Peloton, guys, having a nice day. On this note, they plan to cut some of their soon-to-be released products, including that treadmill I was reading. So more price cuts to come. And also this guided product, which is going to be that basically on screen, so you can use their classes, I guess, on screen versus having the actual machines going to $295 from $495. Anyways, Peloton up nicely today.
Yeah, I want to say it's like an unimpressive 4% when the market's only up 1.7. By the way, President Biden finishes speaking and the market goes right back toward those highs. So for what it's worth, that has happened. And I'm not saying it's an unimpressive 4%. It just somehow fell way under the radar because of Twitter. Obviously, that's going to be the case. But you are resisting, and go to the higher time frame, you're immediately resisting that 50 period on Peloton, and it's having some trouble getting through it. That's this 27.5 to 28 area. And you can sort of see that was a nice little bottom at 28. It got destroyed on Thursday. Couldn't get anywhere close to it, and that seems like a pretty solid level. If we get back up to the top and the market's not breaking out, Peloton's on the radar for a short at that high a day. Clearly not as strong as like a Twitter. Instead of trying to get Twitter off the highs, which has been okay, Peloton feels like if it gets back up there, that could be one worthy of the short. I'm not really caring too much about those new products, just that it's not nearly as strong as some of the other names that we see running here today, and we got a good level at 28.
I still feel like where there's smoke, there's fire, and Peloton eventually, I think, we'll catch a bid from somebody. I mean, I don't know at what price, how far down this has to go. If they're not bidding on it when it's down to like 21 or 22, then I don't know. But we did get that move up on that news of possible trying to find a suitor anyways. We know that the management's changed over there, and that's always a good sign for possible buyouts. So we'll wait to see if that's going to be in the cards for Peloton. I am holding some shares just to see if that is the case. I don't know. I like the name, and we'll see where it goes just for that reason. And you never buy a stock just because you think it's going to get bought out. But Peloton has bounced off some of those levels. I do hold AMD, but for right now, we're going to short it. And we're just day trading, right? So here comes AMD. All we've been doing is shorting. We absolutely destroyed the short. It's not going to be on here. No, it's not. On Friday, where it just kept falling down into the close. We talked about the relative weakness in the name. It did pop up right at the end of the day, but that's okay. We were already out. So right now, we'll hold another short in AMD and just try to build this position. It just ticked up to 109. Well, that's right where we are right now. So these charts aren't the greatest right now, but 109.10 is some sort of support, but I'm gonna upscale it up here. We have to take out this 109.30. I've gotten stopped out a couple times on this name. It's gonna be a positive name for me, but again, if we get stopped out again at 109.30, then we're gonna have to battle because that's another 30-cent hit. Like I said, remember, we're taking, like this is only 2 averages in, so we'll see where it goes from here. Hopefully we can make a move down here. Look at this short, right? We took the short, got stopped out, then we re-shorted. So this short is 109.40, right? We got stopped out at 109.60. That's 30 cents. But then we took the short again right here at 109.58. And then our best out is 108.50. So that's $1. So that's what we're trying to do. We're gonna try to scalp some out. If this name can fall back in, my first bid is in the 80s here, mid 80s, and then we'll see about a 70, and then hopefully we can get back into 108 and change. Remember, the S&P and the NASDAQ both positive today. S&P up 0.6, NASDAQ up 1.6. So yeah, to hold a short in AMD is definitely risky, but we're gonna do it, see what happens here. And again, 109.30, it's a 30-cent worth of a hit if it does come through. So that's my sort of take here on AMD, guys.
One more of note here before we continue. BRCC, which is Black Rifle Coffee, all-time highs today on a 21% move with no real catalyst, it would appear. Their last report was back in March. Better than expected right across the board. Their forecast decent. Analysts like the stock. So huge move today. 20.5%. Just made a day high, in fact, for Black Rifle Coffee. All right. There was no shortage of opportunities this morning going into the open. You had to be kind of picky, though, and pick and choose your spots here, guys. Let's go to frustrating stocks.
This one's easy. I mean, we talked about Twitter already, so don't have to go back down that well. But Pinduoduo, like this was a level like I actually had my alert set up for this after last week, and it was simply you had the positive news for all the Chinese or U.S. listed Chinese names. Over the weekend and opening up the audits. And look, it's just a fantastic catalyst for them, and they're all gapping up. But Pinduoduo in particular had this 47 level that we've been watching for quite some time. You can see when I'm on the 15 here, there was that one break. If you just go back to a couple weeks ago, you had that one breakout. It got to 55, snapped back, and just reestablished 47 as resistance. It's just an obvious breakout on the higher level time frame. But I got into it. We initially took a stop out because we were way too tight on the stop. And then it wasn't until it got back above that 47, we got back in a little bit late. So it was frustrating in that we had this one sort of dead to rights down around actually at a better price than the 47. But once it took out that morning support, I was a little bit late to get back into the long. We didn't pick it up until we were at like 47.30, 47.40 when initially we had such a great price in the morning. But the key thing is, it retook the level. Everything about the trade was still valid. It got to the $50 mark, so we just jumped back into it. And that's what you have to do. Like it can suck because when you get that good price in the morning, sometimes you get a gift in that 9:30 melee. But I'm going to have a stop at that particular time, and it's more about being patient, I think, next time. Now, if I'm a little bit more patient with the move, maybe I'll get a better price, allow it to take out the bottom, do that fake out breakdown, and then get into the trade. Sometimes it's just better to allow things to shake out. But you identify a key level, you've got to be trading it every single time it makes sense. And the key is, even if you've lost the first time, you've got to jump back in and make that second trade because it's still there for you. It's still valid. It still fits your trade setup. It still fits the risk plan. So I was at least able to get back into it, but got to be a little bit more patient at 9:30, especially in these types of names, because they go crazy, like $2, $3 up and down, and you have to see that settle down before you can do that trade where you want to hold on to it.
Yeah, mine's gonna be pretty simple as well. It's something very simple, and it's GGPI. It's just Polestar, and again, like we have this on our sticky note here today, so to lose on it really sucks because we like the long, and we talked about why we like the long with Hertz. We talked about it during the show. Unfortunately, and look, we took the trade in the pre-market on Starbucks, so it's hard for me to say like don't ever take something in the pre-market because the Starbucks trade was absolutely huge, so pretty happy with it. But again, we started this at 30, and then when it dipped down, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get some more. We got it at 15 because that was kind of the low of the pre-market right there. But then it just kept on dripping down, and unfortunately, you know, we did get taken out. And if I zoom in right here, you're gonna be able to see. And again, it's fine. Like this is what happens when you're trading. Just like we're sometimes gonna get like the ultimate prices, sometimes we get worse. And it took down 12, and to me, that was enough. We thought that it had a possible basing out here around 1150 if you look at the day chart. So, you know, that was, I really wanted to get back in if we kept on going down. Unfortunately, we watched it, and then I wasn't confident enough to get back in, and now you're seeing where Polestar is up to 1256. So what's going to be the one, you know, probably, hopefully, knock on wood, the only losing stock that we have, it's going to be Polestar, and it was a long, and our long started at 1230 and averaged in at 1215. So when you're at 1260, yeah, it's going to be a little frustrating. It wasn't like a huge trade, or it's not like a make or break on the day, but still frustrating to say the least when you have the levels and then you just get ticked out. But hey, that's day trading, and we're going to learn to live with it.
We get a lot of questions, guys, regarding hotkeys. We're going to try and answer some of those today in this video. It is imperative, if you are an active trader and going to be in the market on a daily basis, that you not only understand which keys are which when you are trading, but there's certain hotkeys, guys, that we really want to focus on and make sure that we have embedded in our minds when we're trading the Apples and the Teslas and the Microsofts of the world. Let's get into some hotkey talk.
Yeah, let's do it, because let's be real. Like, you got to be able to execute if you want to make money in trading, and so execution is king. First things first, if you want shares right away, and I mean like in that split second, whether it's I need to cover my position, or I just need to get in right now on a breakout, or I need to buy into a position. And I'm going to talk about market keys and marketable limit orders, right? Like this is your way to get into a stock right away. So we jump right into a level 2. I'm going to pull up Crocs because it's not moving as much, so it's easier to talk about what I want here. If you send a market order and I want to buy Crocs, that is bidding to infinity. And yeah, that's one thing that you can set up. Okay, if you want 1,000 shares, it's going to scoop up all these hundreds and probably give you something around 75, 70, going all the way up the ask. Now, I prefer a marketable limit key and always have one of those set up. And the only difference is you are going to be bidding something aggressive. You want it to route to multiple gateways that's out there, but it's just your ability to cross that spread, set up a 70, you set it to 75, say 80, and there's a price that it will not go past. I don't like market keys because you're bidding to infinity, you're selling to zero, and in a vacuum, that can be a little bit dangerous. So I would rather have something where you are crossing, can access multiple gateways, and that way you are removing liquidity from the market rather quickly, but there's always a price you don't want to pay. You can use those for stop orders, for breakouts. I think they're incredibly effective for both. And the other thing you can always do is consider having these set up in a way that you can quickly have an offset. So on a particular stock, it automatically crosses that best bidder ask by, say, 10 or 20 cents, whatever your preference might be. Or you can just set that up manually. But it's an important key to have. I favor it over the market key, which everyone is usually familiar with, but that marketable limit order, and make sure it routes to multiple gateways.
And I wish I just hit a marketable key on GGPI here, as that just ripped up. That's for sure. Polestar making some money moves right now. This is what my keyboard looks like right now. So it's pretty wild here. A lot of different order types to go through here, but none more important than this key right here. It's called a stop limit. So it's a stop. So basically, like you think, it's a actionable order type based on a price, right? And you might know them as conditional orders, limit orders, stops, things like that. So for me, I just hit it, and I hit it all the time. And when I do that, you could probably see here, maybe full screen and get my face off there. But yeah, there it is. Thanks, guys. It just brings up this stop loss price. So like right now, if I was short GGPI right now and I want to get out at 13, I would just type in here 13.01 and then I hit a buy key and I say buy it for me like at 13.10, and then you can see whatever the default is, 1,000 shares, whatever comes out, and then that would be how much I'm willing to buy of GGPI at this certain price. I need to know 100% where my stop orders are, because if I'm going to short something just like this into 13, and I think it's a good idea, it's kind of going a little parabolic here, a nice move up. There's no possible way that I can trade this name without having these conditional orders in. You can also do it to break long. So if I want this to go long, I'm not in a position right now. So watch, I hit the key, it just pops up, and then I start to fill this out. If we break through 13.01, buy me some shares at 13.05. You tab it over, you go whatever, 500 shares, 5,000 shares, 1 share, whatever your limit is, you do that, and then boom to the upside. So my favorite hotkey, Brendan, and I don't trade without it, period. Every single trade that I get into, unless it's just one of those like Neil was saying, a quick scalp or where you mark it in and then mark it out just because it's going that crazy, I always have set up my number one hotkey would be a stop key. So you might know them as conditional orders, but that's what I use it as, a stop key, which gives me a specific price. When that hits, then do this. So it's like an if-then key.
So not one, but two must-haves, guys. A marketable limit order and your stop. Always protect your position. Before we do anything else, before it even starts to make you money, we have to make sure we're protected. Use a marketable limit order. Use your stop orders. Banks, guys, starting to go as well. We talked about GGPI there a little bit, popping up, so we can continue with that. But I wanted to mention JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon out over the weekend with his annual letter to shareholders, caused this move down this morning. That quickly reversed. Just noticed a few of these, though, starting to tick back to the upside. So 0.5% now back in positive land for JPM.
Yeah, we flush ourselves on the toilet here on AMD as it does go to the upside. We're able to take a couple trades in there, but now it's breaking. So now we'll wait. And until we break down through 109 again, we don't need to be involved with this as the market just continues to make basically, well, not continues, is making right now. It looks like new highs, trying to take out this 15,130. So we're going to get out of the way of AMD. It looks like it's going to be strong now. We just got out at the high. So now I'm honestly thinking about short, not the high, but you know, that move, thinking about shorting it again, but we'll stay out of the way. I don't know, GGPI just went crazy. I know you're on that one as well. I've been trying to use
like some new graphics here. I know you always hit that one, the electric car one. So it's unplugged.
Yeah.
I don't know why it has to go unplugged. It looks like it breaks off. But anyways, I never do that. Don't be that person that drives away where you're still plugged in. But Polestar is weird. Like I was just talking about how it couldn't get through 1250 before we came back on here, and then it finally goes to this 13 price. Now, if it gets through 13, I just feel like I can get a cover in front of the high of the day. Like the way this has been resisting and only picking up in volume now, I'll be perfectly happy to finally get that push into the high and then just take it out. But on the other end of the coin here, I am in the market's breaking out again, right? Like Sean just mentioned, and that Twitter, if it wants to load up here, that finally worked off the double top. It was the only short that has worked for me. Well, I guess it was $1 in the money. I just didn't take it in the morning. But it's right back up at that high. So as we just talked about stop orders, I got my stop order set with my marketable limit order crossed up if we take out the high of the day and the last of my Twitter short. But you know, it was like when Biden was talking, that was that candle down. And then we just held on to the last to see if it could get past that 50 mark. It couldn't do so. Now we look like we could possibly be breaking out once again. So market strong, Twitter still strong. Highs of the day on both about to hit.
Yeah, I was just looking right now. AMC is starting to bounce back up a little bit. Our Starbucks is only 3 cents in the money, but we're going to wait to see if it does continue its move back up. I don't mind shorting Starbucks again, but let's see if it can fall in. The name that I want to get long, though, we've talked about this over and over again, was just to strengthen Facebook, and I actually dabbled in some shorts and wound up losing. Some of them were okay, but it looks like their AMD trade wound up just kept on going up. So we did test some of these shorts in here on Facebook, but quick outs, like it just kept coming down to the 50 period. period, taking them, and then eventually it busted out through. So I like this break, man. If we can get above 334, which is the day high, actually, I'm going to zoom this out, right here, 330, it's like 334.10. We can get above that on Facebook. I mean, I don't see why we don't take this name. I've been loving Facebook since 180, and I hope you guys have been as well. It's really working to the long side here. So Facebook breaking through 234.10. I like it. If we're able to average into this back in 233, then I think that's even a better price, but I don't know if that's going to come through. So let's start to bid a little bit here. We have the bottom of 232. We don't want to hold this $1 against us. So that's why I'd rather get a little bit of a better price, but I guess we can always get out at the 50 period if it's breached. The market is now well above 15,000. We talked about that last week. There's the 15,000 mark that happened real early. It's actually right here, break, but we started the day just heading towards it. There it is, some resistance, and now we're up to the upside. And the market, NASDAQ probably, when it's this close to 2%, I mean, why not just tick 2? So I think that's eventually what happens. We can start building along right now in Facebook, realistically. Back down to 233.13, though. I like to get this at 50 if we can. Let's put a bid at 50. If we get it, we get it. If not, let's look to take a 234.11 break to the upside. Got to get long something in this market.
I see some, look, I'm seeing in the chat a lot of people talking about Atarian or ATER with an offering. First of all, I'm not saying that there's an offering that got issued. There was a slight pullback into VWAP here, and we'll see. If something drops on the wire, obviously we will let you know. My instinct is a lot of times you would probably have way bigger of a volume spike and a bigger drop than that if something like that happens in real time while the market is open. So I think just be a little bit cautious. We don't ever report anything until it's actually confirmed, and that's what Brennan does absolutely best. So keep your ear to the ground. We'll keep our ears to the ground for that. GGPI, Polestar, just coming back. It tried to get past that 13, and you see it got to 13.10, and now it's starting to pull back. I still have 13.38. That's where I want to be able to get out of this one. If we can get to the upside there, I'm going to be all over it. And anybody that asks about NUTX, I don't mind going over it. I promise you this much. Well, I speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure I speak for everybody on the show here. None of us are going to trade this stock. It is halted is probably halted 8 or 9 times today and is traded under 300,000 shares and is up 300% despite the fact that it's been cut in half. So there's a definition of a stock that I would never day trade. This is pretty much it. There is no liquidity. The spread is $1. It could move 15. And good luck getting out of your position or even getting into a reasonable position in something like this. It's just, look, I understand if you catch it when it's early, you can make a bunch of money on the way up. But if you miss one out, you put a stop in, let's just say, it fires and it misses, or that market order gets destroyed, it's just not worth the risk here. So I don't really have much to say about this. I understand it was just, their deal went through today. They got an uplisting from the OTC because of it. But this is entirely illiquid and just not worth, in my mind, trading because the risk to reward, you're not going to be able to, if you can't get out where you expect to, where you can't calculate what slippage might be, then I don't understand how you can make a trade understanding your risk to reward in any fashion. It's just a little bit too crazy. If it's done a few million shares, maybe, but yeah, that one's way too thin for my liking.
Market's kind of exploding. Look, I mean, you saw live on the show when we talked about it on, on Friday, we talked about Netflix, and you saw it live when I was like, you know what, it's too bad because I was trying to get into this name, and wow, we should have been able to do that. All they did was warn their employees, but watch out for some spending. I don't even know what that means. The amount of money that they're paying for some of this content is crazy. So I'm not sure about what that call was. You saw this move all the way down from 377 down to 368. Gave a really nice opportunity to buy there. And I don't know if there's been any follow-through news on whatever that was, but I think it's been clarified. And today, Netflix well outpacing the market and just making new moves here, taking out the 50 period again. If anyone bought on that dip, congratulations. I think Netflix is about to explode to the upside here, including taking down this 400. The minute you take the 400, man, then honestly, I don't know about this 200 period because that's a monster move, 400 up to 500 right away. That seems like maybe an oversized move, but I definitely like the momentum here. I don't know, again, this bottom of 365, that held so much lately. So if you go long at 400, you basically have 10% downside and a hell of a lot more upside to Netflix. They're not even in a lot of major markets yet. They talked about expanding through to India, and I know India has a huge Bollywood, and if that can start getting hit on Netflix, and there's probably an alternative over there, but again, just watch out for Netflix coming through. New markets, I like them, man. Bridgerton, all these. I never watched an episode of that, by the way.
It's popular,
but that's what I'm saying. There's so many popular. Squid Games 2, I guess, is coming out. I have no idea when, but that's going to be another name that people are going to love and talk about. And I don't know. I honestly kind of see like blue skies for Netflix, Brendo.
Maggie had the best term for Bridgerton around here that I've heard, guys, and that was cringy. So that's my consensus. CRM, another one pretty impressive so far today, back to day highs. Almost 4% for Salesforce. The only note of interest, they legally changed their name to just Salesforce Inc. from Salesforce.com Inc. So CRM up almost 4%, guys.
Good. I mean, I don't know.
I'm asking my wife about that cringy thing.
But I don't like. It's incredible. Bridgerton's incredibly popular. First of all, CRM, love the stock. Needs to break out from here. It's doing a really good job of holding the 50 period. You can hold the 50 period, but you can't break out from the 50 period. It's like you can take the reservation, but anyways, it's a Seinfeld reference in case you didn't
that was the Chinese restaurant, wasn't it?
It's because you have me on this Seinfeld thing because apparently when I went on a bit of a rant where I was complaining about something this morning and I got called George Costanza, which was fair. I realized I did sound like Costanza a little bit, but now I've got Seinfeld in my brain. That's going to be my next workout show. It's The Office now. It's going to be Seinfeld next. But CRM in particular, look at this 222 level. We talk about setting your alerts or like when a stock gets to a certain price, it gets spicy. Look at it just constantly channel and barcode off the 50 period in 210 and then set up to finally break out from here on the 15. It's a little bit, it's not quite as clean. When you look at it up here, you are looking more like a 22 level. So it's not really there just yet, but this is another one. When you find these channels, and can finally break out of them, they can be fantastic opportunities for you. Now, you still have to execute. Like, Pinduo Duo, we had to wait for it. And when the day comes, you got to make sure you get that long. So I'm setting my alert for Salesforce here. Can't call them Salesforce.com, but Salesforce is 222. It looks good. They've been holding up. It's a strong market. It's April, right? Usually a pretty good month for the markets, and then May's a kind of a different thing, but I like that 222. We'll set our alert for it. I don't necessarily think we're getting there today in Power Hour, but certainly a good level on Salesforce, and when we break it, I want to be on the trade that day. GGPI just attempted again, keeps trying to get through that 13 level. It got to 1320. I'm sitting in front of 1340, just looking to get maybe halfway to those pre-market highs that they had earlier. So far, it has slowed down a bit, but we're holding the bid at 13, at least temporarily. Twitter rolled over a bit, but I think that's because the market just resisted the high of the day briefly.
Yeah, I'm going to head over because we are now in, as you can see, Facebook. So where did we get the long? We got the long at 55. So if we can go back up and start to test some of those highs a day, we'll definitely get out. And then we are noticing right here, hard to see because I have this wick here, unfortunately, but that's 233.26 is the 50 period, so we're going to dump that down a little bit to 233 and say if it goes back up there, we will get out. Instantly in the money, 20 cents on this play, though. We'll see. We didn't get anything out, so it doesn't really matter. You don't count your profits before they hatch, so we'll see if that's going to come back in now. A level of concern for us. 233.25 or so. So we're going to put another bid down there and then see if we get those shares, in around that 25 mark. And then we could get like a bunch of stop outs happening here because we were short AMD, you remember. That's fine. It's still above where we got out, but we were short into this market rally thinking AMD was going to be weakness. I'm wondering if that's changed a little bit. I still like to short it. We still have this 110 area, but I'm not going to short AMD and go long on Facebook because then I'm really counter trending this market. Like one would be with the market, one would be against, and I don't want to do that now, although I think those names are right, but we don't want to switch it up. So Facebook, we'll get this. If it breaks through 233, then hey man, we'll give it back what we made on some of those shorts. We'll go long on Facebook now after shorting it before. So let's just trade a stock. Like I said, the problem with going counter trend a little bit at the end of the day, I love going with the trend off the open and as the day goes on, but at the end of the day, part of the problem is this market, it could be profit taking when you get names that are up 4% and the market's only up 2%. Not that that's scaring me away. I mean, I'm in the trade and I'm looking to average in, but that could be some of the logic there. Just like when they're thinking to themselves, hey, you know, AMD today hasn't been performing that well. Maybe it needs to play catch up. So they actually buy it into the close, even though it's been pretty weak. And with that being said, here goes AMD right now starting to rip again to that high side. Facebook still in the money. We're offering 79s. So it's getting up there right now. Why don't we just take 20 pennies on this, the first bid? If we could take that out, which we hopefully can, there we go. We'll take that out and now we'll wait. That's 20 pennies on the first bid. Now we'll wait again up here like 234. And if we break higher, we'll have that long again through 234.10. So far so good here for FB on the long that we just took.
Yeah, Meta on the move. TKAT, Brendan sort of opened things. Well, he talked about it in the morning show in the NFT space, YVR making some power moves. But TKAT in particular, getting close to that $5 mark. On the daily chart, you can see $5, a pretty solid level for this name. It hasn't really, it got to $4.90. This was the moment that I think there was a chance to have shorted it off the high. The volume is tapering off. You can see volume's tapering off. It's not quite as big on this last little push. So I'm looking for a play off of this high of the day. If it can fail in front of 5, I'll try to take that short. There's always a chance we get a $5 breakout. But I'd like to see the volume pick up a little bit. You know, we need to be approaching at least some of these levels, these spikes that we saw in the morning, I think, to sustain a bigger move. Like, that's too low volume. So I want to be shorting in front as long as the volume can hold off there. Polestar just can't seem to get there. It's like it keeps breaking 13 and never breaks past that 13.20. But that ATER, and just to be clear, if it wasn't the first time I said it, we've seen nothing about any offering. And, you know, Brendan sort of said he hasn't seen anything either. And in my experience, it would have moved a lot faster than it has to the downside if that were actually true. When offerings get dropped in the middle of trade, like forget about aftermarket or pre-market, yeah, when they happen, the algos are all over it, man. Like, it would be spitting volume if that were the case. It's at VWAP. It has not broken morning support, and morning support is still up like 25%. If you're like the 330, sorry, check that. That's actually up 35% if it were to be at that 330 mark. And if it does drop through VWAP, let's see how it holds up at 330. The only level I would have been shorting it would be at $4. I didn't get a shot at it. Much like TKAT, it's the same kind of a level up there. But this has already died off a little bit. So I'm going to hold on to the GGP long. Mullen making some moves back to the downside, but not as strong as I would have liked. And we wanted the 280 for the dip buy off the open. I want that pullback into the key level, usually at the open, so you can get the snapback. Once it happens this late in the session, when the stock is this weak and failed twice at the high of day, not that interested in it, and the volume is not even there anyways. When it comes to Twitter, however, it's starting to pull back a bit here, and I'm on the bid in front of 49.5. The market is holding up at the top, so it does feel like Twitter is finally starting to roll over. But like Sean was talking about, it's probably more profit-taking than anything else because, like, what has outpaced the market more than Twitter today? Pretty much nothing, unless you're talking about that ridiculous NutX stock, which doesn't count.
Oh, I must have just... okay, well, whatever, it's fine. We'll go money, because Palantir was a great stock for us today. Actually, my number 2 stock today, but I just didn't mean to. I must have keystroked that in, but all of a sudden it ticked and we got out. So I must have put the wrong dollar price there. I would just want to give you an update. We were long Palantir, and this is what I'm talking about in the morning. Like, we trade like a maniac out. This is why it's one of my number 1 stocks. Our best out is right here, 1457 on Palantir off of 1420 long. So that's a good trade. And I meant to put getting out at 1454, but now that I look at it, I put 1554. So so the price was 1554, triggered higher than that. Obviously, it's not there, and then the price ticked me out. So I put the wrong stop price in, or sorry, the wrong stop price in. So when it was already there, it's already been below it. So I put the wrong price in. Sorry, 1354, not 1554. That would have not triggered. But there you go. We talked about hotkeys, and I put in the wrong one there. So that's fine. Right key, wrong price. So there it is. We're out of Palantir. I don't like the reload here, which is why I got out. If I really thought this market was going to go higher, then we would probably hold this Palantir trade. But it's already up 5%. And again, what a monster run Palantir's had. I don't mind it if we take out the high, but I just don't want it. Like, if it breaks this, we may test again down here, especially if the market bleeds a little bit. Doesn't look like that's happening, but we're out of Palantir now. Again, my number 2 stock, well, yeah, Palantir, Starbucks, and Twitter's all right there. So we'll watch for that. And then AMC obviously is just dancing. We should have got longer here, but we didn't think that for AMC. I was waiting down here like we talked about with our trade of the day. Let's see if AMC now can make a move back into 23. That's really what we're looking for. And I'm debating taking this long. I don't know what you guys think about this, but what about if we break 22.95 right here, get some action, and then bring it back into this area that we talked about, which was the pre-market highs and some highs. I guess if you go back to Friday, you can see where we closed on Friday was right here, 23.50. And then where we danced around this morning, pre-market, well, that's not even the pre-market, well, I guess sort of it is, but right when we opened up 23.50, and then we retested 23.50 again. So I'm sort of like quietly thinking about this 22.95 break. I think we will take it, 22.95. Let's take the break. We have some back support down here at 22.75. So if we can do that, I think this could be a good trade for us. 22.95 break here on AMC. We'll try it. But again, it's all about whatever these guys want to do at the end of the day, right? Where is it? Where's my apes? There it is right there. If they come in, then yeah, AMC should be able to take out these highs. If not, we have our out. So that's the important thing. 23.75 if it fails.
So speaking of that, it's actually perfect timing because HYMC made a bit of a breakout as well. Maybe that's where they are. I have no idea, but this just broke the high of the day at 215, and then managed to get through not Friday's highs, but if you look at, I suppose, the lower high after things settled down in the morning at 225, that's where it just got to. So maybe look at those two lockstep. You know, if AMC doesn't go, and Sean's on AMC, if AMC doesn't go, that 225, that lower high from Friday, that could pose a little bit of trouble. You want to see, and I'm not saying they have to follow each other, but let's be real, they have been a lot of times going lockstep, and if you get a rollover in AMC, that's a level that you could run out of steam. But a big volume spike here on HYMC is now back into play after kind of doing nothing all day long. Ms. V?
Hey guys, Power Hour has officially begun. I hope it will bring you more trading opportunities. And meanwhile, please make sure you like this video. We have 3,300 people watching and only 300 likes. Team Closing Show needs your support and your like as much as the morning show, Market Movers. So please support the community, go long on the like button, and back to Neil and Sean.
Yeah, do that. And like the other thing too is like, Ms. V put all of that effort to make sure she's in the North Carolina blue
Right.
on this day to support the Tar Heels. I'm not a Tar Heel fan, by the way, but yeah, that should be a really good game tonight. I don't have a dog in the fight because I'm a Big Ten Michigan State fan, and you know, Kansas, good luck to them. I'm sure Danny Manning will be excited to see them in there, but North Carolina has an unbelievably talented squad, so it should be a lot of fun watching that. And look, DraftKings was up 9% today. I don't know if that had anything to do with it being a Final Four. There'll be some wagers made today, probably like in just ridiculous amounts of money. But we talked about Polestar, and I never actually brought up Hertz.
Right.
We've been looking at Polestar without watching Hertz. Hertz up 10%, but look at the high. Double top at the high of day right now, 23.25. But if you look on the 15-minute, right above here, 23.5 has been all kinds of resistance for the last 2 weeks in Hertz. And I just sort of feel like you have a double top, and I get it. Yes, long Polestar and then short Hertz doesn't always make a ton of sense, but it's not a hedge per se. It's just more. I like the double top, the market at the highs and struggling to churn through. You also have overhead resistance in case it does break out. There's another level up here, about 25 cents higher. The volume is starting to taper off. Just a lot of things to like at that high. Now, it could break out. I'm going to give the stop at the high of the day, which is ridiculously tight right now. And then even if it breaks, I'll probably just go right back to thinking it can be shorted again at 23.50. So I might take a couple of cracks at Hertz here. Very much in play the same way Polestar is. And sometimes that'll happen. Like you get a news piece like that Polestar is moving and Hertz is going to be in play, and you pick one and then you end up ignoring the other, which, you know, it's pretty clear which one of those two longs ended up being a little bit cleaner, and that's going to end up being Hertz. But hey, that's one of those, it is what it is. You learn from it, make sure you put both of them up there. It's just because we're accustomed to trading GGPI, and I don't think I've traded Hertz since it came back to the NASDAQ.
No, that's for sure. I don't think we've talked about that at all, really. Okay, so we're switching gears on Facebook right now. Normally this would be an average in spot. We talked about that, but this market is going to give this up. almost certain now. We just tested the highs. I like the short much more than I like the long now in the market. So there it is. So that comes out. So really, we'll just go, I don't know, really nothing there. Maybe bubble pop. I don't know. We just switched up our game. So in and out. No damage done, no money really made either on Facebook as we took some outs. Again, we were long, right? 53, we were long. We're just trying to get some out. Each one of these were 20%, so we were holding 60% there. So 20% out there at 67, another 20% out at 93 or whatever that was for 40 cents, and then we drop it off right there at 27 or whatever our fill was. 26. So we got some out at the rest out at 26. So net about flat there. So we just switched up our game. That's all. The market was fading in there. And then I kind of went over and I was like, oh, do we really want to short AMD? I mean, AMD is not going down in this market. So this is not a good name. We need to find something that's relatively weak right now. And that's what I'm going to try to find. I feel like the market wants to give back some. Otherwise, I'd be looking for something that was strong, right? And Robinhood right now still up that 1.7% and not coming down too much here. So maybe this is not going to be a name that we pick on. You mentioned DraftKings, but that's already up a lot. I'm trying to find like maybe some names that have just overextended for absolutely no reason. We know Twitter's up a lot today. We might have missed that high already at 51.40, but this isn't a horrible spot right here at 50.25. I think this is probably worth it to see if we give some back. So let's try that on Twitter. Twitter right now going to break lower, especially if this market cracks. I don't know if the market's going to crack. I mean, it's coming back up now. Facebook's probably up, but Twitter right here is very, very interesting to me. I want to go long, man, with everybody. That's 50.25. Maybe that is the play. Long back here to 50.70 maybe. But let's just do a little more work on Twitter. This market collapses. I really don't think we hold this 50.25. It didn't like it there, came back in about 40 or about 70 cents. And then right here, we've held it. So if it doesn't hold, I think we could definitely get away with a lower tick here on Twitter. So let's think about this break, 50.25. I will test the short there if we do take that down.
So, Sean, I think you're looking for something which is relatively weak. Squeeze the cheese in the chat here seems to have you. And he said NVIDIA can't seem to get it up with the market at the highs, which I will say is 100% true. Because if you're double top at the high of the day on the NASDAQ, maybe even, double top, and the ES is also breaking out, well, NVIDIA, it made the high at 11:30. Couldn't get past that 275. It was a good long this morning in NVIDIA. It was relatively strong at the time, and it is still up more than the NASDAQ. But, it's pulled back here. And as you're taking out the top, it is not even getting past that 273. And if you remember, this is your 72.73, which was that previous support. The breakout could not get past first level of 275. And now we're sort of hunting with lower highs in here. So it is relatively weak over there. But that just feels like it might be some of the bigger tech names as well. Like everything is feeling weak at the top, yet we're breaking out the high. And I think that's the thing. Like it's even looking at Apple here, like it's at the top, but not breaking the top. So I keep hunting around. I'm like, what is taking out the highs of the day that's causing us to continue to run higher? I see lots of things at the high or resisting the highs, but not much breaking them, with the exception of Hertz, which I just got into. And when you short at 20 and you're giving it to 25, the trade might not last very long. If it does break that level, I think 23.50 is another one to get into. I just don't want to be holding it all the way to 23.50. But I'm still looking for something that's taking out that high of the day that isn't a small cap.
Okay, well, we're on AMC right now. It looks like this could be a good opportunity to take a trade as Facebook comes right back into 65. So getting out of that one, again, no money made, but that sucks because there was really no money made or lost as that's coming right back. This is what Facebook looks like right now. But it's still, into the high of the day. Like I thought the market was going to be weak. And then, like Neil said, we're just taking out the top. Apple to 178 as well. That's looking super spicy. But new trade alert here. Like I just said, AMC, we did get a little piece out because it's also bounced off of 90 now like 5 or 6 times. I still like the long, but again, we'll take another piece out on AMC. That's a winner. Now we're just holding this one, and let's see if we can take out 95 here on AMC. That's going to sort of be my next target here. And there goes Twitter, taking down that bottom. Now we've got something to short, guys. Twitter. What's up, Brendo?
I was just going to mention, guys, real quick on EVs. Goldman Sachs out with a note today on the entire sector saying that by 2040, 50% of the cars on the road will be electric vehicles. Keep that in mind. And then on that, Ford this CFRA out with a note on Ford specifically. looking to build on some EV sales. They came out with their March numbers today, weren't good. They were down month over month. So Ford back to positive on an uptick there. But 50% of cars by 2040 going to be EVs.
And the Canadian government doing their part by giving money to GM, which
There's no way that's possible.
That's
There's no way. They don't have the infrastructure for the batteries.
That's aggressive.
They don't have the charging. I mean, but that's 18 years from now. So, I mean, to say never is a Justin Bieber song, Never Say Never, right, Ms. V there?
It's going to take significant investment from...
See, now I got Ms. V dancing and everything. See, this is why I'm the people's...
Get the camera on,
This is why I'm the people's trader. I mean, you guys don't even get to see that.
Oh,
yeah, Fahad just, he's keeping that to himself there. So nice little dance moves there for Ms. V.
You're not going to get away with that again.
As we go. There. But see, that's what I'm saying. Never say never, guys, for that one. I just don't believe in it. Look, I own Tesla and all these names, so that'd be fantastic if it does happen. But that seems a little aggressive, but whatever. That's good. I mean, you don't have to hold them to it, right? I mean, 18 years from now, ain't no one going to remember about that call.
Probably not.
But right now, okay. So
if they believe that, why are they not buying? Like General Motors should be, and Ford should both be probably 10 to 20% higher.
But I mean, do they make more money on EV? I don't know. I don't think they do. I don't think an EV car has the same margins.
They're not there yet.
Yeah, they're not there yet. So I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, I'd vote for Kansas here, but I can't. So I see the new poll there. Well, like I said, I don't really have.
Cheering for.
Yeah, mine is just a more monetary cheering. I don't really have a favorite one way or the other. I know Kansas was favored by 4 at one point earlier this morning when I checked. But okay, right now Twitter to the downside, so I am in Kansas -4, but we'll see. If that prints, we don't know. I talk about printing, it's a game. Okay, 50-60, we want to hold that all the way up here. If it does take this out on Twitter, we already got one piece out because you know what? And if I take this off, look what happened here on this. It's the wick off bottom that's scaring me right there. I don't like when it makes a bottom like that, especially at 50. Like it broke and we were like, yeah, buddy, we were instantly in the money. I mean, we were short at 25. We're instantly in the money, 25 cents. I couldn't even do anything about it. And then it just ripped back up. I don't like when you break, and I don't know if you guys can see this. If I can zoom in a little bit more, now you probably can. There's this bottom right here, and I'll highlight it, then move my cursor. It's that 50.05 bottom with a lot of volume. That is the wick off bottom, and that's normally for me, I want to be long that. And right now, obviously, with Twitter, I didn't get an opportunity to do anything about it. So if you look back here, I put my trades back on. The best out I got, and I was talking about something else with you guys when that happened. The best bid I got, and I'm trying to bid 11s as well. The best bid I got there was 16s or 17s. So unfortunately, when I saw that, I was like panicking and got out. We only got out of 5% of it, which is why I'm a little more stressed out right now. If we can get another bottom, which was literally at 11, which is where it stopped. Right there, we're bidding 11s, and then we're bidding south of 50. So let's see if Twitter gives it back up. We've already made some highs, but my out's going to be around that 50-50 mark. If we take that back out again, then we will be out of Twitter. Just got to make sure, and that's what I'm going to do. I have a bunch of these script orders like we talked about. I'm going to do a little refresh here and make sure we get out of the rest. Oh, and by the way, meanwhile, when that happened, bang, right there. We get a nice little win here as I look over. Didn't even notice my net, so a little excited there. As AMC takes out that 22.95, and your boy called that move, man. This was that one move that we wanted on AMC, and there it is, straight up to the upside. So a nice little movement there. We just took us out at 22 again. Sorry, at 21 again. So a nice little 20-cent win here on AMC, and we didn't even realize it. So we're pretty happy right here.
Yeah, and by the way, GameStop also took out the high of the day. HYMC making its move back to that top. I like if it can break out that high, HYMC has also room to go. Twitter is right at that decision point for me because I'm sitting in front of 49.50. And of course, it's still on the New York, Neil. That 50 level has been holding. There's not a lot of size there, but once it gets through, I think this is our last out. There was a big channel between 49.25 and 49.60. That's where I want to be covering this one. GGPI, by the way, I put a trailing stop on this now. It doesn't feel like it wants to. If it's going to consolidate here and break back out, I think we'll be able to get the fill. But the volume tapering off, I don't want this reclaiming 12.80 and we don't take the profit. We'll lock in the 80 cents if it does take that out. Otherwise, we're still shooting for about $1.35 on the last of that trade. Hertz, It did take out the high of the day. We'll jump back into it in front of 2350. So for now, it's going to be holding SPI from the morning. Don't worry about that one. And Twitter, that 51 short, but it cannot get through that 50. If we keep resisting 50 and the market stays on the highs, might just have to take it out where it does lie right now. And HYMC, as I mentioned, with GameStop and AMC both running, it's making a double high and trying to take out these highs. Now, you got to watch, I think, the group together. That's what I'm going to be doing, probably playing it off of AMC a little bit here. But if we can take out this high while we're still strong, I do like it here. We're at that 230 mark right now. If it can break through, I'm going to get long. Oh, did it break? No, it didn't.
Which?
No, it hasn't broken.
Oh, HYMC.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're talking about AMC. No, I'm in AMC.
AMC is still below the low, but HYMC is breaking it.
Okay,
We're
good.
trying to.
We also had Twitter. Yeah, let's go bang-a-rooney on that one. But we'll just go stacking up the cash because right now it's near the end of the day, so we're trying to stack up some cash. And there it is. It's a nice move, obviously, to the downside here for our friend Twitter. Good move down, man. I like this. Breaking that 50 level. Our best out, I think, was 95, or what did I have right there? What is that? That's a 98, so our best out is 98. And then since then, it does make these moves up. I mean, a bunch of wicks both ways. So this tells me right now that we're just trying to figure itself out, or they're trying to figure themselves out here, Twitter. So let's see, will it make that move back down into the downside? I think so, and that's why we're waiting for that to happen. So here we go. It's trying to break lower. Our outs really hasn't changed. We're still at this 50-60 mark. So if that comes, I mean, you can even bump it a little bit higher, 50-70. Like I said, just refresh all of your stop orders and make sure there's nothing there. It's 315, and especially if you're trading Twitter there, tongue twister, this is going to be a name that it could easily just rip up again, or it could tank. Like, this is not a name where you want to have stop orders just hanging around. So make sure that your orders are valid here on Twitter. We're watching that name. And then AMC, man, nice upside move. We got some out at 17. We got some out at 14, which we're at right now. And we're getting lighter and lighter on AMC. We only have 30% left. We just wanted to play for that break because look where it went right back into this area again. I was holding out for higher, didn't come through, but right now I do have an offer at 35, just in case we do go for a little jaunt northbound here on AMC. Otherwise, we break back down. We'll get out again, man. 2290s are out. So both ways. We're excited for the upside, but we're not going to hold this back down. 2290 is our out for AMC. Another win right here. But really, I mean, my whole day, not my whole day, but a big part of the day here, we do have a decent spot on for Twitter. So if this breaks lower, we're going to be a happy camper.
Yes, sir. And that HYMC did not really make that break, so didn't get into position. It didn't take out that high. It's still trying to hold above 225. There was 100K on the bid at 27. That got taken out, but it was a legitimate buyer. So there are some buyers still trying to hold this consolidation here. And Twitter, the battle at 50 is pretty entertaining to watch. At this point, I don't have a trail in it yet, but I'm getting really close to just taking it out. If we don't break down in the next couple of minutes, it's going to be worth it. Have to be flat at the end of the day, both Sean and I, in the next 40 minutes or so. So you start to think about where you want to take that profit and what trades you cannot take because it's too late in the session. HYMC still has pretty good volume, so I might be able to get into that one as long as we break back up on AMC and I don't see anything crazy happen over in GameStop. I love the fact that it's holding above the 225 for now. But there was a dark pool print I saw at 31s. It didn't really go through that 30 level. It still needs to make that break to be a little bit more clean. And this is the last chance for you, GGPI, Polestar. I almost wanted to say
Polestar.
I almost said Gore's Guggenheim for some reason because I'm watching. It's Polestar. But this is, again, 1320. Can't seem to break this level on huge volume, and we're consolidating. So I'm sitting above in front of 1350. It takes out this level. I think we get our fill finally. But I've now trailed it to 1280. If we break out at 1320, I will move the trail up to 13 even just to make sure we continue to lock in profit. But we're running out of time to make this move. And Hertz went nowhere off that 23.25 break. It went 10 cents higher and still isn't testing 23.50. So not much of a move in Hertz either. Brendo?
Float, a little medical diagnostics company just popping up here. GBS Incorporated works mostly in China. 110 broke there on a volume spike. So 15, I believe, million shares on this one, guys.
GBS. These names are just wild. Yeah, that name's, I guess, going to continue to work. Let's have a look here. GBS, I type in New York because you can only guess, and now I think we're screwed.
NASDAQ?
Yeah, what's going to be, I guess.
It's NASDAQ.
$1.19 and moving around. Unfortunately, it's going to take me a second. The 20-minute, we'd already took out that dollar. I mean, that was a great punch long. If anybody had that, you resisted that a little bit here today, $1.02, I guess it was. Nice move to the upside, and there it goes. Wow, yeah, this has a lot of room to run if you look at the daily chart here, from it being $3 or $4 or $5, now taking out to 50 period. But again, you try not to look at these technically too much, but there is some support, I guess, at a buck. I guess it's resistance at a $1.40 or so. So watch out to short that name if you get into the $1.40 realm, which we've already kind of got there. 119, probably coming back down. Just be careful with this name. These things do trade different sub-dollar. So if it does break back down below $1, you could retest back here. So watch out, sub-dollar on this name. No idea where it's going to go. Twitter, though, does make, there's that move on Twitter right back up to the upside. So we're out of more than half, but just barely. So yeah, that move back up, waiting to get stopped out if we take out 50-50, guys. Right back inside here, Twitter, with a big move back up, even though the market makes its move down. So this, like I said, this is a name to be worried about, I think, if it doesn't fail through 50, and it didn't, man. It held it pretty good. It's very bottom. The best print we got was 95. It only went as low as 90. So yeah, Twitter right now dancing around. We'll be stopped out, man, if it takes out 50, which will basically, once again, be a flat trade. Like we were cruising, hoping this thing would go down, and no, Twitter just right back up. Like I said, man, you step at some of these trades like Tesla, SoFi, Apple, and now Twitter, man. If you get that sort of cult following behind it, then yeah, this is the kind of stuff that could happen.
Speaking of Tesla, we're thinking about things that were at the high of the day. Tesla actually got to exactly 1150, and that is the current high. You had to make that trade 20 minutes, 30 minutes ago. Really is when you got that level. But with this starting to roll over, yeah, I've just tightened my stop again on Polestar. Like, forget it. The stop is now at 13. We'll try to lock in the buck. It just doesn't feel like it wants to work. And you already talked about Twitter there. That's bouncing off 50. I should have just taken it out. Even HYMC, which I thought was about to take out the high of the day, it's starting to pull back. And now, here we go. Now it's trying to make another run here. The context, AMC, still holding the lower high. While you do see HYMC trying to go, it's been relatively strong anyways, but let's see if it actually takes out that top. The volume is slowing down a bit, but it's one of the few names looking like it has a chance to coil up, consolidate, and maybe break running into the last 30 to 40 minutes of the session. I'm looking for something to jailbreak to the long side. Come on, Polestar, get there. Like 15 cents away. Like, let's go.
It'll get there.
Waiting all day for that.
Look at the market.
It's finally starting to go. And while that's happening, Hertz is also running. So Hertz about to get to that 23.5 level. Now, it'll seem like, why would you want the short here in front of Air, up 10%? When in doubt, zoom out. This is the daily chart, 23.5 on Hertz. This is what it looks like on the 15 minutes. So yes, I do still like it in front of that 23.50. As a matter of fact, it's more like 23.60. There's been a couple of times it's actually tested above that. So I will adjust my stop to give it an extra 10 cents. It doesn't matter too much, but hey, that's the actual high in the 15 is 23.60.
All right, we did it. We're reloaded again here. And hopefully it's going to be a positive stock on the reload. But there's Twitter. We're going to give it up to that 50-60 mark or so, just taking that level out. We're going to reload the short. I mean, it is kind of going, I don't want to say parabolic, but that's a nice move on big volume back up to the upside. So we'll just short it one more time. We were waiting for 30s. It just didn't come. So I was like, enough is enough, and punch short. Got like 28.50 or so on the short punch. So now we're back into the short. We're short right here on Twitter. So 50.26s or so short. So we're out of the money 6 cents. We'll see on the downward move. We do have an upside target. And again, if we're going to notice that this is going to be building at 50, well, that's going to be 25 cents profit to the downside, which is approximately what we're risking to the upside, breaking through 50, 60. So we'll try this on a 1-to-1 with a little more confidence that it does come back in here. And again, I don't know why I have that confidence. It's just the 50 period in the trend. We'll play the trend to the downside here, but we are understanding that, any sort of a break, if you get into this area again, which is that 50, 60, then yeah, trend broken, and we probably make that move back down in. Unfortunately, AMC never gets to that level. Maybe we'll take another piece out here. Why not? If we get back over to 12, we'll take another piece out for AMC. It's been a good one for me today. It's my trade of the day down here at 22. Then we got patient with it again and waited for that breakthrough. 22.95, hit that, and now we'll wait to get out at 12. If we can, another piece. Has to rip through me, man. I'm on an offering gateway now. So hopefully that'll come up and we'll get out a little. There he goes. Out some more at that, making those rebates for that one. But right now, Twitter, I'm going to hate this a little bit because this is a good profitable stock for me here today, and we are giving some back, trying to play the short when we initially liked the long. But let's see. We're not out of it yet. 50.60 where we get out of Twitter, which is 25 cents from here.
Okay, here we go, Brendan. You know, we've always talked about this. It's like when Brendan brings you a name and it breaks a key level, let's just actually trade this bad boy. Because that GBS, on the daily, there's that 125. Well, I have the 15-minute up here, but I guess on the daily, you can look at 125 as well. It just went through. I grabbed 27s on the long side of the trade. I just want to see if it can make a multi-day break and then maybe continue. And if you get to 150, 160, this channel in here, that would make a ton of sense to me. That's about, 20 cents of upside. I think, well, like 10 to 20 cents of upside. I'm giving it to $1.20, not to the 125 where it broke out here. So we'll give it a few extra pennies just to see if it can continue the move. Like I said, there's not a lot breaking back out. HYMC felt like it could go, but then you started pulling back in AMC, and I don't love that as much without some help. And it needs help, I think. The meme stocks tend to move together. And throw some offers out on the way up to that 140. We could have the top here, but if it's going to hold a level, I think the consolidating off of a 125 break can make some sense. I would normally be shorting this, but that would be up at that 140, 150 where I would like to short. So we'll see if it can sustain that break. It's just a simple double top, but I'm only giving it to 120 here on GBS. That's on the NASDAQ, as you taught me.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like that. Okay, down to 15.17, so we'll go, wow. Just kind of joking. Hopefully, Twitter will come a little bit lower. We did put a bid out again for another 10% there for 10 cents, but we don't, that's not the idea here. We want this to go a lot lower. I just really thinking about reloading it again if it does come back out. So let's wait to see about another bottom pick. The only other bids I have out now, I do have a bid at $50.07. Like we said, if I'm going to do 25 cents worth of risk to the upside, I think we can do that to the downside as well. I don't know. I heard something there. I don't know what that was. But we'll wait to see now. Even Fahad is like, huh? What's going on? So we'll see about that. But hopefully the traders behind us are doing okay. We only have 35 more minutes. And more importantly, 15, no, that's right, 25 more minutes until the imbalances come out. So I heard Trader Prad. I don't know, why do we call him Trader Prad, by the way? It's not like, hey, I heard Trader Sean. Roblox right now. I guess sometimes we do. But anyways, I heard Prad talking about Roblox during his show and how that was starting to make some new highs. Now it's come back in. This is not going to be tradable for me. This is what you call barcoding, and it's just not moving. But if you do zoom out, it's been a nice move to the upside for Roblox. I still want to buy this. I mean, I'm in this name. We were able to get out of some. We bought this before earnings, and it's kind of embarrassing when I show you where we bought it because we bought it right here, and then it popped. It was just before earnings, and when all the talk was about Meta, and I was like, okay, this name's probably going to pop. All I need to do is say one thing, and they did, and it popped all the way, and then just tank city. So we still are in some of this, but yeah, we got out of the majority of these shares. It was kind of crazy because I got some out of like at one. We're long 75, so when it popped up that day, we were able to get some out that day in and around 100 to 101. Then we got some out at 110. Then we got some out at 130. Nothing up here at 140. But I'm thinking that I like this play breaking back through 55. So if Roblox can get going through this 55 area, breaking through the 50 period, I like this long. But now it's on my radar, and I'm stealing this from I know Daniel Shea has when she says stocks that are in the zone. I like that. Yeah, I think that there's stocks now that you want to look at here that are back in some of these tradable zones, like that SoFi back near 10, and then I like Roblox here near 55. So that's getting into my zone. And again, a little Kanye Jay-Z there. Yeah, we had one employee that wanted to do Neil and Sean's Red Zone. Remember that? It was when football was trading sayonara. But that guy did have some good ideas there. And I think, get into my zone could be one. So that could be another segment at some point.
So you guys, like SWW, whatever. That's a pretty interesting. You know who I'm talking to in the chat was like, they saw GBS, because I'm trading GBS there, and all they thought about was bourbon GBS, a gingerbread stout. which, oh man, you didn't need to tell me about that, because now all of a sudden it's like, what is this and why do I not know what it is?
Now you're down.
Why do I need it? Yeah, so thank you very much. This is why I love the community, right? Like you can see, we try to have some fun around here too, and yeah, be responsible. But remember, in the zone, I love it because I'm writing the CRM in the zone, putting an alert out. And that's what it's all about. Make sure a stock is trading at a range that matters to you. Make sure it's at key prices so that there's follow through on some of those trades. The other thing too is when Brendan gives you a name, you trade it. Finally, it's been a long time. And we're going to use this one. I don't know why I haven't hit a graphic for basketball when it's Final Four. Well, sorry, Final Four. It's a championship game tonight. But double top break. Like this stock was already up like 60% when Brennan sort of gave it to us. It broke in the dollar. And then it breaks out from the high on the 21st. So double top on the 15-minute. It breaks. It goes to that 140. Hopefully it'll get to $1.50. There's 150,000 shares on the offer at $1.50, so I do think it's probably going to turn around there or at least find some resistance. So GBS on the run, and not because of the gingerbread stout thing, but hey, why not? Hopefully we can celebrate with some of those tonight. I don't know what I'm having for dinner, but I'm sure that goes well with just about anything. Brendo.
Fun note on Rumble, guys. CFEI, not really doing much. There was a bit of a volume spike there, but remember a couple weeks ago we were talking about, there was that story of I think it was Brazil. There was like the Brazilian Joe Rogan was going to Rumble, I should say. Well, show number 1 is on right now. So there was, again, a little volume spike there, but I won't show too much of that. But I mean, even his studio looks exactly the same. It's kind of funny.
The Brazilian Joe Rogan is throwing down as we speak, and we're here. But yeah, we'll have to pay attention to that. I guess Brazilians are speaking Portuguese, I guess. So yeah, that's good. And again, just more positivity, I guess, if you're looking at Rumble or anything like that. It was Rumble, wasn't it, Brendan? Yeah, so CFVI right there coming through. And again, I talked about why I like this name. Whenever you're dealing with SPACs, you do have a floor, apparently anyways, of every SPAC I've been in has converted over. So, but this one will as well. But if there was any problems, it should be worth 10. So that's how SPACs are funded. And you could see this is what it was doing before the SPAC, 970 doing nothing. You're just letting your money waste away because it's time value of money. Bang, up to 15, up to 17, up to 1850. I like this long. I just think that you have some value into here. The only problem is, remember, when it de-SPACs, that's when the risk, like PaySafe, you have a risk where PaySafe, when it was a SPAC, had the bottom of 10, then they de-SPAC, and then the bottom was 3. So you got to watch out for that. That might be a play if you do take Rumble long. I don't know what happens on the day that it turns over to RMBL. I'm making that up. I have no idea what is it? Okay. What it's going to make sense anyways. What that's going to be, but again, I like the $10 move there on CFVI, so a little bit of upside there in case something does get announced. Like what if they do sign Joe Rogan at some point? I mean, then the stock goes off like crazy, right? So watch out for that CFVI. Not a bad spot.
Okay, maybe it's not RMB.
I don't know. Who knows what it's going to be.
That's an actual stock.
Yeah, I figured like it was because I've heard of that before. But anyways, Twitter right now with a massive move up today. Congratulations to shareholders, which I am one. But right now we are shorting this stock up to, I might just change this, man, 50-50. Why even give it up to 50-60 right now? The 50 period is now at 38. Yeah, let's change it. We'll get out, watch this break 50-50 and then come right back. But we're going to give that one up. Just lose less money, basically, is the way I'm looking at that. So if that takes down 50-50, we're going to get out, which it looks like it wants to do right now. It's been good for us, man, because we've been getting out. Like we shorted here 24s out down here at O's, shorted again on the reload. We talked about that and then got those out for 13, 14 pennies. So if we're going to be short now at 26 and get out at 50, that's a 25-cent hit. So well within our wheelhouse right now. But there goes Twitter just dancing around these levels.
It's dancing. I'm going to hit this one because I'm not sure what it does. That is an interesting, I'm not even sure what that's about. It's spicy. It's got what it looks like a pepper, and it was the chicken. I have no idea what that was. We'll celebrate because we're out of GGPI. Obviously, Polestar didn't quite get to the offer up there in front of 1340, but it pulled back. I moved the trail to 13 even. It just couldn't seem to go that next level up, unfortunately. But it's been a good long, and it definitely worked out once it made the secondary push for Power Hour here. But we got to take it out. Got to take the profit and run with that one. And that GBS, I'm now all out of it because it got to that 150, but it put on a fake break, a fake breakout at $1.50 there, and then sort of snap back in. A lot of times that's going to be a short. However, Brendan called it out, and then we looked at that 125 for the breakout, but I didn't actually pay for shorts. So the reversal off of that 150 level, well, I probably would have had to pay for it. And this late in the session with 25 minutes left, usually you're not going to want to, unless it's really cheap, like a cent a share, even then, you don't necessarily want to put that on, because once you pay for shorts to day trade the world, it doesn't matter whether you actually take the position. You get charged for them right there. So you kind of want to have the entire day, or at least half the day, or enough time to put the trade on. It's not really worth it this late in the session. But it did put that turn in from 150. So Sean talked about the dollar break. You had 125 in the 15-minute chart, and then it goes right to $1.50. Some nice symmetry there for GBS.
Yeah, Pride coming with 123 sell side mock imbalance. So we're not going to be worried about that because it's a monster. No, just kidding. That's nothing there. Yeah, I'm just trying to find more trades for you right now. And I'm not like super convinced of anything. That ATER, that was a name that I think we looked at earlier. Possibility for go time on ATER up 50% today, but just in the last minute here, started to tick down again off this 363. Now trying to get back into these levels, and I'm just bringing this to your attention. I don't think I'm going to make a trade on it because again, I don't think we have shortable shares. But if you take this level out, like we hadn't been down here since the morning time, so if you take out this level of 330. Then just watch out below. So I just want to give that to everyone's attention. It was a monster move from 250 up to $4 on ATER, and you don't want to look like not that this is a gift horse, but if this comes back in here and you're long, you may want to get out of at least half or some of your position. I'm just not sure it's going to hold that 332 because here comes ATER into the close, showing I guess that's 10 straight down candles now for red volume. So watch out here, ATER trying to make some moves back in. We'll go quickly over to Brendan.
Another one on a bit of a technical break here, guys, on the daily chart. QS, QuantumScape, up 6% today. 2115, a decent level on the daily chart. Canada following suit with the U.S., Justin Trudeau announcing $2 billion on mineral strategy for our EV battery supply, guys. So another $2 billion from Canada going towards batteries.
Yeah, go LAC. LAC down today, but lithium and all of the metals and resources required to go into EVs are in demand, and it's only going to be growing in the next 10 to 15 years, especially when you see these targets like Sean was talking about the 40%. I'm not chuckling at it. It's just, and we should just be all buying lithium now.
I guess so.
If we're ever getting to that kind of a number, there's no, those prices got to go up. QuantumScape, what I love about this is in the zone. How many times are we going to talk about a stock in the zone? This will go on the radar for tomorrow. It's in the midst of a breakout. So it already broke the bottom end of the range at $18. It goes right into this next channel at 20, consolidates there, and is trying to break out from a 21 quarter or so. It's a little bit late in the session for something like this, but it should be on the radar, right? This is what you're always looking for. What's trading in a new range? Where is something that it hasn't been before? And that's what you're going to get out of QuantumScape. I'll bite because someone said CFVI in the chat a couple of minutes ago is starting to move. And it would be interesting if it was, but it's just not. This is another name. It's a weird one because it's, for the life of me, I don't understand why it never gets the love breaking out. It's holding really nicely off its 200, like you said, Sean. I just don't understand why it never seems to get the catalyst, but the alert will be on that one when it gets above that 50 period at some point. Hopefully it can do it. Twitter, yeah, I want to be in this one. I wanted to be in this one hopefully into the close when you made that nice double top, and it's still pulling back here. But much like in the morning, it couldn't get above that 50 level. You can't get below that same price here. And at some point, you just got to give it up and say it's not getting below that 50. The market is super strong. We're about to hit 2% in the NASDAQ, and the ES is literally at the high of the day. So Twitter, if it's going to pull back, the market's got to make that turn now before the imbalances and start heading southbound, because a strong market and Twitter support at 50 is not going to bode well for the last of this short.
No, it really, I'm the same way with that Twitter, but we've changed our mind. I'm going to get out at 50 if it does break. So Twitter, I mean, I'm watching it as well as Neil and I. Not into too many positions right now as the day is trying to come to an end. I've talked about buying Win. We didn't make a move on that yet today, but I do like Win. We've been buying that one for Macau and for China, and just for gambling straight up. That 80 level we really like. We did dip below it recently down to 78 and change, but I really like that level for Win. And now you're up to 82 again. I've been recommending this name for a bit, so that's another one to look at.
I forgot something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just quickly here, I wanted to mention, before I forget about this, because I forgot to mention this on the morning show. Remember when we were talking about global foundries at 75 to 80 the other day? Well, in 1 week, it's right back to $60 in the 50 period. As fast as it went up to that price, it just comes right back down. Like, this stock is just making 25% moves like it's like a hot knife through butter. So it's starting to consolidate off the 50 period. This is a name that I like. So it's the first day bouncing here. I'm looking for it to break 65, but it might just be as good in a consolidation to jump back into. Remember I was saying, whatever, man, sell it at 75. Well, if you're going to do that and you like the company, then when you can stare at 60 in the face a week later, you probably should like it. So I like a GFS here. I didn't see anything in particular as to why it's pulling back, but it has been extremely volatile. And as far as the day trading stock goes, I say this every time it comes up, it's a very big spread and not always incredibly liquid. So for day trading, it can be a little bit tricky and a bit dangerous to trade. But I like Global Foundries. I love what they're doing. I love Intel for the same reasons, but GFS, that's a name that they're not even turning a profit yet. Imagine when they start doing so, that stock's going to be, moonshotting probably over 100 in the next couple of years. That GBS, not to be mistaken with the other, still falling back down here. So the 150 reversal looks like it was the play. Man, it should have paid for the shorts because that would be printing, but it's too late in the session. I will look at Affirm, but there's nothing to see here. TJ is asking, check out Affirm. The shot at Affirm was when the market was booming to the upside, jumping over to it because it gave you, right at 9:30, a crazy failed break at 48 and a huge reversal to 46, and then it came right back here. I thought it would get to the high of the day. It didn't, so I did miss out on that short in Affirm. There's nothing to see. It's just not moving right now. It is up 1.7% with the market, and you could call it an in-the-zone stock as well, if only because it's holding this consolidation level, and there've been some good shorts. But it stands a chance to break back out. But the breakout for Affirm is at $52, and it's 10% below that right now. So I don't know that it's close enough to warrant that kind of alert. The same way CRM, which is right there in the midst of a breakout. But Affirm could get there this week. I mean, 52, 10% moves have happened in the stock multiple times. I don't want to get too far away from it, but the 52 is the level I'm watching. Ms. V?
Hey guys, it's just 20 minutes left until the end of this trading day. I would love to remind you to like this video, guys. It's officially like o'clock, so if you were shy or busy, now is the time for you to make some contributions into the community. We need just 300 more likes to get to 1K, so please support and smash the like button. Also, we have a poll, as today Kansas will be playing against North Carolina. So far, North Carolina is winning in our poll.
North Carolina's winning the poll?
You better believe it. Come on and raise up.
Yeah.
Take your shirt off.
Come on and raise up. Yeah, some PD Pablo action there. Shout out to North Carolina before we get to gangster up in here. Remember, from the streets, so I can always pull that out again if we do need to. But
Peter Pablo killed it in Drumline, by the way. That's an old. That's
an old ass movie right there.
He killed it, but he killed it in that.
What are rappers even doing in those movies? But okay,
hey,
getting paid. I'm down.
You gotta eat too.
Down for getting paid.
PD's gotta eat.
That's for sure. But yeah, PD Pablo. There's a few of those guys. The only guy I remember is PD Pablo out of all of them. I still like Mike Jones. That's a good song too. But okay, let's go. Oh, Paul Wall. If you guys know Paul Wall.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we're just getting gangster now.
That was getting good.
If you know who Paul Wall is. Okay, the grids. Got the grid candy paint as well on that Cadillac. So yeah, we're down. You might just think we're pretty faces and traders, but no. We are much more than
nobody
that.
behind us is like, what are these old
everyone's
heads
just like, who are these
talking
guys? I thought I was coming here to trade. But okay. All right, so let's just move on from that. Good talk there. Yeah, you know what's about
know
Larry.
what's up.
Larry knows Paul Wall there. Shout out to Larry. And shout out to everybody else. All right, Twitter. I don't know why we didn't hit this button. I mean, bang! How many times did it go to 50 there? We just took a bid there at 15 or 17 or whatever the heck that was as 18, as it came right back in. And now Twitter goes to the downside. We were waiting for that. See, now I got Paul Wall in my head, and I don't know.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay for that. We'll wait for that one. But there it is, a nice little win for us on Twitter. As we're patient, man, it goes right to 50. That would have looked real sweet there instead of us talking about that candy top and paint and all that stuff. Paul Wall, it comes right back in. All we had to do was short it. It came right back in, and now we go to the downside.
It ain't sitting sideways now, is it?
No, that's another good one there. Yeah, Mike Jones, if you don't know about that, now you do, and you got to look it up. That's your homework for tonight. Paul Wall, come through right now, down to the downside. You know who else I liked? Oh, man, there was a real big, like, heavy set, like, country guy.
Well, Bubba Sparks.
Bubba Sparks, that's it.
Come on,
Bubba Sparks is legit.
Come on, man.
I
got you. Don't leave me hanging like this.
That
man.
was an easy one.
I'm sitting here. He's leaving me hanging. This is ridiculous. Because I'm not even going to move it. I'm not moving it.
Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. What's up?
See?
Sorry about that.
Come on.
Yeah, you got that. You got the Bubba Sparks.
Want to know why I knew that? Because let's be real.
I felt so bad.
He was big. Bubba Sparks got big when we were in university.
Yeah.
So, like, that was that joint. Like,
We're really young, by the way.
You guys are like, what the heck? I'm out of
Like now people are like Lil Baby and these kind of things.
I don't even know who these other people are.
Why are you calling yourself a
Lil
baby,
Flip?
by the way?
Who's Lil Flip?
I don't know.
Okay,
who's
okay,
Lil
yeah,
everything?
Bubba Sparks.
Some dude put a diamond in his head, whoever that guy.
Here's what I will say this. Someone's like Bubba Sparks had 2 good songs, and that was pretty much
exactly.
it.
That's right.
It comes down to the era. And if you were, like, we were in school, like, when you first get that piece of freedom, and you
Wasn't
get to
it
hit
Lovely
the club,
or something?
Yeah, you get lovely, get ugly. Like, it's just.
Ugly.
Those
Ugly,
are the
that's what it is.
joints
Yeah.
that you remember, man. So you got the good memories from it, and, and that's what it's all about. Like, that's what music should be. So I get it. No one else is going to like them. But, hey, when I was in university and was going out, that's who it was. So it is what it is. Twitter just got to 50. I'm out because there's still somebody buying the crap out of that thing at that price. And if you're still watching for whatever reason, GGPI, Polestar, it is now, I got trailed out at 13 even. Now all of a sudden 13 even is support, and it wants to hold up at that price. So go figure on that one. We're 5 minutes till the imbalances come out. I'm anticipating we're at the high of the day. And well, sometimes we've seen those imbalances. We're starting to roll over a little bit.
Yeah, the
here.
market's coming back
Apple
down.
has had imbalances pretty much every single day in the last couple of weeks, and it's just starting to pull back off those highs. That'll be on watch for me. Tesla never has an imbalance, so I know it's moving today, but I'm not expecting it. Twitter, however, could be interesting to watch for the imbalances. You never really know about that one. You don't usually see it, but today the volume is just insane. 250 million shares on Twitter. Quarter billion.
Yeah, it is nuts. We're going to bid 94s here and just get this out. I mean, if we can do this, man, we're going to be pretty damn happy with ourselves here and just this hold. I mean, that's all that it really was, man. You're still in it. No, you're out of it.
I just got it.
That's fine. Yeah, it's now's the tank. Let's go, Twitter. You can do it right now. As Twitter coming down to the downside right now. So, yeah, things are getting ugly right now for Twitter as we come down into the downside right now. And, yeah, that was House of Pain. Yeah, I mean, there's so many licks out there that we can go through, but we're not going to do that because Chris Cross will make you
jump.
There we go. The Daddy Mac
try
will
to
make
rhyme,
you.
but they can't rhyme like this.
No,
I could do it all day long.
Yeah. Let's just stop.
But I will say this: I do like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. Extra Pressure saying you don't know them. Those are probably 2 of the only contemporaries that I do love. Those 2 guys are legit.
Yeah,
J. Cole's under I have so much respect. J. Cole's a beast, and Kendrick Lamar, like, he's a lyricist. The guy's an absolute genius. I'm not hating on anything new, but like you said, Twitter finally going. Why? Because I got out. GGPI broke 13 as well. We are starting to pull back in here. Just about everything I'm watching is pulling in pretty heavily, and Tesla as well pulled through 1140. So even Tesla starting to give it up a little bit off the highs. The market's starting to give it in here. We'll watch out for those imbalances. They come sell side when you're at the high of the day. You know what can happen.
This is just the Trader TV beat. I mean, that's all. I don't
Well,
know.
you got that one.
I have it on there, but that's just our beat there. So we'll watch that one. And we're just dropping some beats now because Twitter, yes, sir, all the way to the downside, and that just keeps on going. It's the only thing that I have on. I do have AMC on board, which is starting to make some noise. You know what? Actually, this is starting to make some decent noise. Let's see if we can get a 23 out here. We were waiting for higher, man. We were waiting for 33s, but there it is. We just got it right now. We'll take those 23s out. It looks like a short sell, but it's not. So we're cruising right now for a bruising on this name. AMC to the upside now. Let's see how far it can go. We really like this 23.40. If it takes that out, good for us. But right now, AMC working, Twitter working, and we're pretty happy. The imbalances are coming out in 3 minutes. So what it will look like is like this. I always have to go, I don't know why. Like I've saved this with ARCA not being highlighted. It always wants to highlight it. These are from the morning. If you remember FAMI, did that even open up yet? No, it didn't. So FAMI's not doing anything. Oh no.
There it is.
Oh, it did open. It opened up. My bad. FAMI did open up today, so I don't know. That's still here as an imbalance, but not doing anything. So we'll wait on that. And then as of, I guess it's, 2 minutes right now. These are going to load up, and you're going to see 350, and then we'll see what the imbalance locator brings to the market. I'm not seeing anything here. No change on both, says from Prad. So 100 or so million to the south side.
So GBS, the breakout 125 to 150 happened when Brennan brought it to us. But Brennan also mentioned Black Rifle Coffee. And that, oh my goodness. Look, and the reason why, like Brennan's going to be sitting there, you're not just giving you news, but watching like volume scanners, breakouts, like what is moving, what's doing abnormal volume, what's taking out the high of the day. Like he's doing all of it. And Black Rifle, what a strong chart. I mean, I thought, you think Twitter's strong today? Like, look at how clean this has just been going all day long. And by the way, this is on a big breakout as well, like since the IPO, breaking those highs and into new territory. So something's in the zone. This is past the zone, and it should be on the radar for tomorrow. $30 psychological level. Like if it gets there, am I going to be thinking about a short at that price tomorrow? Almost certainly. But if you're not, if you're after a day like today, if you're not putting BRCC on your watch list, then I don't think you're interested in trading stocks that move, because this is about as strong as you're going to get when you look at a chart. When it just goes straight up like this, nice linear move, nice little 45-degree angle to the upside. Like that's just a lack of sellers the entire day. Very, very strong stock. Has to be on the radar for tomorrow.
Yeah, that stock is rifling up there. Apparently that's decent. I mean, Bros is another one that a lot of people like there on the coffee side of things. I'm going to cancel my stop orders because, whoops, I was just on Twitter there, not on FAMI. We're going to come out. It's 9:49. It's 3:49.29. 30, so in 30 seconds, just if you're following us along, 32, 33. I know some of you don't have, I mean, our time's in the bottom right there, but if your time is different than us, you might want to refresh your feed. We can't control the Twitter delays and things like that, so I'm just giving you, or YouTube, sorry, as I'm watching Twitter. So I don't know, Twitter has Vine. I don't know if they closed Vine or not, but there you go. We're out of some of that Twitter now. We're going to watch AMC still taking out. I guess it's still going to the upside, but here you go. With only a few seconds left, let's see what happens here. The imbalance is no opinion. I'm not short, I'm not long anything on this, but here we go. Twitter not really moving off this. Cisco, what else is pretty big here? Visa maybe for a big buy, 227. We do like Visa coming through here, but as you can see, where did that go? Probably up here somewhere, 227.70. So that's kind of flat. Mondelez, Coke, Uber, Uber there as a buy. Let me call that back up. Uber as a buy, but other than that, you could see not much, that's the 1 day chart, sorry. Not much happening and not much happening to the market. So for right now, those imbalances, although I'll call them up one more time for you, unless these are something to do with imbalances or reweightings or buyouts or something, not much happening here. Nothing to see. Maybe NVIDIA with a decent buy. Let's see where that went on the 1 minute chart. You see it was cruising down to the downside and then a little bump up, so about a buck upside there. And if I zoom in just to show you, this is where we were before the imbalances, 272.90, 273.80. So 80 cents right back up to the upside as there it goes. Starting to go off now here, upside NVIDIA with a small buy imbalance right there. So that's what imbalances can do. They can make things pretty spicy.
Yeah, I just noticed, I mean, Uber had a decent one, but just under 1 million shares, but not too much movement. And you also usually want to see it trade off a key level. Like ideally what I'm looking for in the imbalances for the closing auction is a spike on a buy or sell imbalance. Like if it's a buy imbalance, I'd love to see it spike into a resistance level, and then you can get a quick snapback short, because a lot of these imbalances are often going to pair off. That's the key thing. they're there so that they can be paired off. And there's not volatility at the close. So often you will see the other side of that come in. At the market, hold its beer. It's just, we just took out the high of the day on the ES, and the NASDAQ about to go full 2% to the upside in just a quick second here. That does mean overall, it's been a pretty good start to the month. However, I look back at some of these other strong names and say to myself, why is like Tesla not really full? It's up 5%, but it's not at the high of the day. Remember, we're looking at Apple. As it was at that high, it's pulling back off the highs as well. So, it's not what you might think is carrying us through this last breakout at the top. Not at all. Like some of the strongest names that have been pulling, doing some of the heavy lifting have stopped doing so at these tops, which is very interesting, I find.
Yeah, and that completes the trade, man. I mean, AMD today, boom. Big sausage cannon coming through for AMD today. For me, well traded. I mean, we have one trade down here at 22. We have another buy right here at VWAP, followed by another buy right here. So 1, 2, 3 ins, and boom, to the upside. No losers at all today for AMC as that continues to make moves to the upside. And it's a good thing we got out of the way of AMD because that took out day's high as well. Remember, all of these purples or shorts, man, we got out of the way and not part of any of this. So I'm actually pretty proud about that because in the past, as you guys know, I would have gotten involved sometimes in this short and then just gotten killed when it took out the day's high. But we didn't have to wait for that today as we be very, very patient, as we were very, very patient with this name. And now it's starting to come back in a little bit here for us. So a good trade on us for AMD. And then AMC is what I was getting at. It just went right into that level again. And if you watch the trade of the day, I said, like, into here, man, these are levels that we wanted to look at. There it comes. Nice trade. That's 55-cent win there that maybe you guys had, but it's a good trade for me there on AMD. So pretty happy with that one we're getting ready to wrap the show up. So far, so good. The only thing we have left short is Twitter, and that is tanking. So let's put another bid here. Did we get a 91? No, we did not. Yes, we did. We just got 91s there on Twitter. So a nice move, man. Yes, Twitter, my #1 stock today. And again, happy about it because we're all over this on the sticky note again. We don't have the short on there, but we had these bids, and then we realized the weakness here in Twitter in the afternoon. And by weakness, I mean up 27%.
Yeah, but I mean, when it fell off the top, and I'll shout out to Zed here, what is pulling the market up? Amazon up 3% and taking out the highs today. So there you go. We say something out loud, it's that the community is all over it there, like checking, giving us the answers. That's what I love about you guys. It's just, I'm sitting there like, what's going? And I have it on my quote board. I just didn't necessarily see it. There was a question, how would we trade, I think it was addressed to me on Pinduoduo, how we're looking to trade this one tomorrow. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know if Pinduoduo is going to gap above this 50 period, that $50 level that it turned at here today. And we're going to be able to see that 47. But let's keep in mind, like the breakout today was off of that 47 into 50 even. You still have, if it breaks 50, overhead resistance at 52 and then at 55. So there's always the chance that you could get a nice consolidation, a 50 break that takes you into some of those highs. But let's remember, it rejected that top, pulled right back, and pulled that 47 resistance right back in on us. So, if I take the 50 long tomorrow, that's not like a hold it to the grave type of trade. It's still one you have to have an out. I'm going to look back to that 48, 47 area for sure, but there's room on a 50 break for it tomorrow. I just don't know if we're actually gapping above it or we're retracing. Got to see it tomorrow morning and where it's going to be lining up. But I know the levels I'll be watching on Pinduoduo. And that 47, that was the breakout, I'd love for that to be the support base tomorrow and be able to go long in front of it.
All right, so yeah, all good, guys. Thank you for watching one more time. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. It was a big show, I feel like, today. Lots of trades happening for both of us. I was in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names. Let's just double check. Twitter right now, sub 50, so we'll hold that into the close. Maybe we get a good print down to the downside there. Palantir, what a great move that was, man. Just to review that, 14.20 long. We did get out right there. Part of the show as we thought it was going to break lower, which we were right. It went down and did break through 14.50, but held like a champ, and now it's going to close at the high. Palantir, Polestar, I know Neil had that one. That's embarrassing because we were long and then it just ripped up, so we got out of that one. That was a good trade for us. Starbucks, man, the short was great for us. Actually, Starbucks and Twitter, are almost dollar for dollar here on a P&L basis. We hit this one early and often. A nice trade, short 88.50, then short again 88.13 on a bump and cashed it out. Then we took one last risk there, able to make a little bit of money, but then got out of the rest. We'll look to short, maybe short Starbucks tomorrow. I don't like some of that. And then AMC right now, not going to finish at the top, but we do have a 22 level. And yeah, someone said Sean was throwing a banana by the apes here. At the end of the day, long there, long, and then boom, to the upside, able to take advantage of some key levels. So yeah, really happy about this. We talked about it as our trade of the day. And yeah, with only 3 minutes left, let's see who's going to be on the bell here. But yeah, AMC trade of the day, some nice ins there.
Yeah, there you go. And it should be definitely a good one. And the RCC, I mean, what an unbelievable. Forget about the run. It's not just the run today, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to think of something that's had a better recent IPO. Like maybe there is something that's trading like 2.5 times. I mean, double up since the issue, and it's not exactly a double up. But if you look at closed on the first day at 15, and we could be testing 30, and that's just an incredible run here for Black Rifle Coffee. But anyways, we'll see. That $30 level is going to come into play potentially. Tony's in the building. We'll make sure we get him on that bell with Ms. V. But the market did just pull back off of some of those highs. And it is worth mentioning, like some of these names at these key price levels are going to be, I think, very tradable. I'm looking at Polestar on that pullback. That's been one it's been a good trade. However, there's been some obvious key levels, right? Like that 1280 where it got to and consolidate there in the morning. It had a short, brief consolidation there, and then just been trying to hold support. As a matter of fact, right now on this pullback, 1280 holding up pretty nicely. 1180 was, of course, previous resistance. That also happens to be $1 higher. If we can close above that price, I like a shot for a day 2 move on Polestar. Although, remember, it was a frustrating long until this afternoon when it got going at 2 o'clock. So it's the kind of thing where if I'm sleeping on it during lunchtime, check back at 2 o'clock because that's when it got a little bit of a run in, and that should be on our radar. That GBS will be on the radar as well. It's going to end up holding that $1.25 level. So GBS and GGPI looking like names that should be all over our radar for tomorrow.
Yeah, so we threw it out because Twitter came out as a sell. We threw out our market on close order. So we do have 45 cents in the money right now on Twitter, but we are going to take our out on the closing print. So we have our market on close order type. We talked about all the different order types, and here's Twitter right here. You can see it's already paired off 2 million shares. It's actually a buy right now. So I don't expect this to get printed anywhere. It's done 300 million, 260 million shares today for Twitter. So we don't have a huge position. We're going to wait and close it out on the market on close and balance. So we'll see wherever that print comes. We will be a part of that to finish out the day. So now with only 30 seconds left, we know who's over there on the bell. So it should be a good one. Yeah, they're already really excited. It should be a good one. See everybody tomorrow. With only 20 seconds to go, I just have one trade, and it's going to come out right at the close, and it is that Twitter short.
Get them on the countdown because they got the moves locked and loaded. There they are.
Oh yeah, that's right.
See, what is he, like moonwalking? I love
Larry
it.
knows where the new camera
is. 5, 4, 3, 2, and don't forget the bell ring.
Tony Pepperoni.
And he's in the blue too.
Yeah. He's ready to rock and roll. And by the way, too, Tony, I mean, until he, not that he's ever going to lose his job, but I don't know, maybe he might quit it or something.
No.
Not here.
Whoa.
Not here. I'm talking about the Blue Jays game.
Oh.
Yeah, so hopefully Tony Pepperoni, he got a new gig at the Blue Jays. So we're going to see what happens there at the Rogers Center.
Opening day?
Coming through. Opening day is Thursday?
Well, opening day is Thursday, but the Jays is Friday.
Friday. Oh, so their home game is the Friday.
Yeah.
So that should be a lot of fun. Neil Dancy for that one. That
I myself and nobody else are excited.
That's Barrios, I believe, right? Getting the
you got the opening day nod. It's awesome.
So that should be a good one. I'm on the Jays over 91.5 and winning the AL East. So I do think there's a good potential for both of those to come. Well, if one does, I'm sure the other one will as well. What's up to Trader Pratt, who is not at his desk right now, as I was just looking at that. So let's do a big shout out to an open chair if we can. Where's Trader Pratt? Oh, there he is. Hey, what's up, Trader Pratt? Thanks for the show today. That was good. We are still not out of our Twitter, so I don't know when that last print will come. Hopefully I didn't miss it. I don't see that it printed yet. Thank you to Lucas. Thank you to Fahad, again, obviously, today. Thanks to Mark and to Rob working to get our other setup going here, which hopefully is sooner rather than later, but we'll see. Waiting on for some technology to come in. Apparently there's a supply chain issue. There it is right there. There's Lucas and Fahad. Thank you so much
shot.
again, guys. Shout out to all the traders behind us as well. Shout out to Neil. Sorry about leaving you hanging on that one. I really didn't even see it there. So we'll do some more.
Did we go to Brendan
We'll
yet?
do some more dap ups there. Did we? I mean, did we? You know, who knows?
Actually,
let's just go to Brendan now. I mean, no one's even telling us. So let's go over to Brendan.
Sure, why not? We'll make it official anyways. It was a 2% day, guys. It's exciting. Come on. Here's a look at the end of the day there. 2.05 for the NASDAQ leading the way. S&P 0.85, a quarter for the Dow. So, yeah, worth a look, I would say. 4 1/4. It was kind of a slow grind at the end of the day. 4 1/4 for oil back at day highs.
The floor is having a problem with this Twitter order because I'm still not out right now. So we're waiting for that closing print on Twitter. It is 70 cents in the money, but I can't. There he goes. There, we just got out. I don't know, where did that print come?
2 minutes.
Oh, it sucked, man. It came out 97, I think. That sucked. Like, remember, it was just down there at 70. And I was like, I could take it out now, but then I would be long, because I would get printed automatically. You can't cancel that once the order is in there aftermarket. So that's that. Yeah, Twitter was a good one today for sure. We'll be back tomorrow trading it. Thank you to Ms. V, of course, today. And thank you to Brendan. Wow, what a day for the NASDAQ, up 2%. Tesla, where did Tesla finish, by the way?
45.
We don't come back to me. I just want to look here. Wow, 11.45, a hundy away from its all-time highs, which we might get to tomorrow. We'll see if Tesla can get there. But thank you for watching. Enjoy the trade of the day. It's going to be on AMC, and guess what? We're back tomorrow at 8:30. We'll see you then, guys. Ciao.